Hey, everybody, listen, welcome into the building. It's what? Today is what, Wednesday? Why am my days thrown off, right? Today is Wednesday. Welcome into the building for trending topics. Before we get into these trending topics, I gotta tell you a very traumatic story that happened to me today. I was waiting for a pair of shoes that I ordered, and unfortunately, I don't know where they delivered my shoes. I got an email saying delivered. And I'm like, where? Where is it? Looked outside my door, no shoes, went back on my little doorbell app or whatever, never saw anything delivered. Called the store and they're talking about we gotta investigate. Investigate what? I need my shoes. And they're so cute. Anyway, guys, that's my traumatic story for today. Hashtag find my shoes, okay? Find my shoes, North Storm. But anyway, guys, listen. Coming to this building. Y'all know what your ticket is, right? Hit that like button because we about to board this train. I know. Okay, hold on. Let me sit up. Okay. All right, I'm better now. Thank you, Roy. Okay, I had to breathe. Yes, hashtag find my shoes. Okay. Find my shoes, North Storm. Listen, everybody, hit that like button. We about to board this train. Okay. Choo choo, all aboard. Hold on one second. Hey, Robin.
Hey, Diva, please, yo, get Diva her shoes.
Give me my shoes. Choo choo. We about to board this train. I see you had an early ticket, Robin. Thanks for being
Okay.
here.
Always.
Hey, Sebastian.
Hey Diva, hey
You
Robin.
got your ticket?
My ticket is here, but my message to everyone is to make Diva feel better. Please share her video so we can get her to 20K tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, Sebastian. Oh, love you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Sebastian is right. I think I need what? 60 more subscribers, y'all. 60 more subscribers. So if you've been coming through and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button because with 60 more subscribers, I will be at 20K. Help a sister out. Thanks, Sebastian. Hey, E.
Hey Diva, hey Sebastian, hey Aunt Robin.
Hey.
Whoop, choo, choo. We're boarding the train. Listen, guys, we're pulling this train out soon. We got one more passenger we need to bring up. And I don't know if y'all going to be happy, sad, or mad. But here
Uh-oh.
he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Chef Kev.
Yes.
Hey, Chef
What's up?
Chef
What's going on?
Kev.
What's going on? How
My
y'all been? How y'all
brother.
doing?
Hey,
I
Chef
was looking
Kev.
outside my door for your shoes. I figured they might have dropped it off here. I don't know.
uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I
Oh,
didn't see nothing. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know they be messing up. So
they messing up. They messing up. Chef Kev, I got one question for you. Is the food train open tonight?
the food train, not the drink cart.
Oh, you not serving drinks?
Oh no, not on my 21-day fast. Sorry, we're not doing that.
Or are you doing a dry January? As everyone is doing a dry January?
Oh,
Can't
that's
say
what
all
it
that.
is.
It ain't dry.
Listen,
It's already
guys.
drank. It's too late.
A
Ooh.
damn
Listen, listen, guys. Chef Kev is playing with y'all tonight. He calling it dry January. Okay. Not sure who gonna stop by his car, but he said he ain't serving nothing. Okay.
Apple
He
juice and
only serving
cranberry juice.
food.
Uh,
I got apple juice and cranberry juice
He
where's the
got apple
sun?
juice and cranberry juice tonight.
and
Okay.
vegetables and no sugar added. So everything is no sugar. Everything is no meat, so hey, look, it's for the vegans.
They not happy you. They said we want drinks. We want drinks. Okay. Chef Kev, y'all ain't blaming him tonight. All right,
That's what.
guys. Let's get into this right here. You said I sent my package to my friend inadvertently. Had to tell her she's welcome to keep my measuring cups. And there's a real gift coming from Amazon too. That's
That's
funny.
cute.
Okay, Miss G said, give us some cranberry juice, please. If that's what you're doing. Claire says she ain't worried about you. She bringing her own. She ain't got time for that. Okay. And Morgan said, I might as well just stay on the quiet card since you ain't serving tonight, Chef Kev. They say you playing games. You better find an old bottle of alcohol just because you doing dry January. They said that doesn't mean they have to too. All right, guys, let's get into this. Okay. Be ready for the first stop. Buckle up. Choo choo. Y'all got your tickets. Okay. Uh-oh. Your ticket is revoked, Chef Kev. They ain't playing with you. They want the drinks. Okay.
I'm selling edibles. So I'll be all right.
All right, guys. So I don't know how many of you have heard about this story, but it happened on Air India. So there's a former Wells Fargo vice president who
Mhm.
found himself on this flight. He got a little too toasty. And that's why when we talk about this, is Air India responsible for this situation? Okay. So he was a Wells Fargo VP. He was on the flight, had a little bit too much to drink, so much so that many of the passengers was even saying that he was drunk as a skunk. Okay,
Mhm.
so drunk that when he had to go to the bathroom, he didn't even realize that he didn't take himself to the bathroom. He just pulled his little thingy thing out and he peed on the senior citizen. He thought he was in the bathroom and he whizzed on the senior citizen. Okay. So
Mhm.
now, after he pees on the senior citizen, first of all, the people on the flight, okay, the stewardess, all the crew, they should have called the cops, okay. So as soon as the plane landed, they would have took him in, but they did not. So that was their fault. And not only that, at what point? At what point do you tell somebody on the flight, okay, you enough is enough? Enough is enough. We're not going to serve you another drink.
Mhm.
Okay. So they didn't stop him from drinking. Okay. So this part of this debacle, Air India owns it. Now they
Yeah.
also initially they only banned him from flying on Air India for 30 days. But you know how the people get to social media. When social media gets on a situation, they put the pressure on the people and then they change their mind and they do something different. The family of this senior citizen was pissed,
Mhm.
say how you only going to stop him from flying for 30 days. He gets arrested. Wells Fargo fires him. And he was actually embarrassed himself because he said he didn't even realize that he peed on this woman. Now that's how pissy drunk this man was. Now all I'm saying is this. We're blaming it on the alcohol, right? But didn't that crew have some responsibility, just like they have responsibilities in a bar, to say, okay, you got a 2 drink limit. Now I'm
Mm.
sure it was a long flight, because I want to say, where did I write my notes at?
I
I
think it's
forgot where the
India.
flight was coming from. I got to look again, and maybe as people are talking, I can tell you again where the flight is. But it was a long flight. But even if it is a long flight, yes, he was overserved. Thank you, Sheila. He was overserved. Okay, so they want to say he, did all kinds of things because he's exposed himself to the senior citizen. Yeah, somebody Roy said this is assault with all his little
Yeah.
nasty, with a little nasty weapon.
Mm-mm.
Listen, he pulled it out. He thought it was in the bathroom, and the passengers even said he was drunk. So
Mhm.
who are we blaming for this situation? More people should go down. Then afterwards, they want to suspend the crew and they want to backtrack and all of that. Yes. Yes, and
They
Cassandra, you are right. That is stinking pissy drunk. Wow. Both should be held responsible. Then tag them both. That's what I'm trying to say. I would start with you, Robin. And you know what, Chef Cat, you might know a little bit about this because the last train ride, you overserved the people. But I'm going to Robin first. Robin, how do you feel about this situation?
OMG. Air India, that staff, that flight crew was
Uh-huh.
mad at fault. To
Yes.
start with, besides the fact that they overserved this man, they finding out that this woman was assaulted in this fashion, they gave her some clothes to put on and some slippers.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot to
So
add that. Go ahead.
but guess what else they did? They made her take her same seat.
Yeah.
They didn't give
Yeah,
her
the
someplace
pissy
else to
seat.
sit
The pissy seat. Yes.
next to the man who pissed on her.
Yeah.
The next thing that happened, how did this man disembark? How was he out on the limb? How was he kind of in hiding? How was it that it took him using a credit card to find him for him to get arrested? And he wasn't even arrested in like the most severe fashion. He's in a particular kind of custody, not in police custody. Yeah, he lost his job, but man, an assault. And by the way, if it was not for this woman's family,
Yep.
it would have just gone, just slipped by. So you know what? I'm blaming Air India staff first and foremost. I'm
Yes.
blaming them because they overserved him. I'm blaming him for being someone who with a, we have this, we believe there to be a nexus between your position of power and authority to have anything to do with your judgment. And if this
Mhm.
man was so drunk that he did not know that he was in the bathroom, he should never have a drink again. Chef Kev, put him on your no drink list.
Put them on the no drink list. Let me add this, Robin. See,
Yeah.
Air India obviously has a problem with over serving because soon after, I want to say, they had another man, but luckily he peed in the empty seat.
Oh,
Okay. He did the
God,
same
no.
thing. He peed in the empty seat. So obviously, y'all are over serving the people. It's too much alcohol on this flight. It's ridiculous. Sebastian, what do you have to say?
Clearly, this happened while they were mid-air. So that means prior to them being on air, this man already had gotten a lot of alcohol. He most likely bought alcohol at the gate and probably drank right before the flight. And while on the flight, he took a couple more. That is not supposed to how that's not how airlines are supposed to function in terms of alcohol. He should not be able to go on a plane with alcohol. He should be able to get alcohol on the plane because I'm guessing that's how he's gotten this drunk. Because clearly, if he's this drunk, he's already in DT. He's already in delirium tenens. He's already at that point. He has to be at the drunkest he can be to pull out your protrusion
Yes,
and
yes, that's a nice way to
point
say it.
it on a passenger
Point, point.
and have your liquid that comes out of your bladder to go on that passenger.
Mm.
You must be the drug.
On
Clearly,
somebody's nana. On somebody's nana. That's what he did.
he was in DT. He was in DT. Oh, it's official. Emmanuel broke the news. It's official. Phaedra is joining Married to Medicine. It's official.
Breaking news, it's official. Yeah, well, whatever. We'll talk about that later. But yes, he whizzed on somebody. This woman was a senior citizen, and then they didn't even sanitize this seat, give her someplace new. Like it was a whole mess. They messed up. But you know what? They are serving way too much alcohol on Air India. It's problematic. It's a problem. It's a mess. Chef Kev, what do you think? He whizzed on a senior citizen. If it wasn't for her family, he would have gotten away with this. And yes, he did get fired from Wells Fargo. And yes, you know what? He did say to the cops when they arrested him, he's embarrassed. He's ashamed. He did not even know that he did this to this woman.
Well, there's so many people at fault here. I'm gonna blame majority of it on him because there's a reason why you have to be a certain age to drink. It's called responsibility. Okay,
Hmm.
so he has a responsibility to know when to shut it off.
Hmm.
Second of all, and from a man who has traveled with work, I always been told you're on the clock the whole time. When you
Hmm.
fly off, from the time you wake up to you get to your destination till you come back, you're on the clock. And I've been
Hmm.
gone for like weeks, so he embarrassed the company, so that's not surprising that he got fired. Um, and then it goes to the people serving, and you have to know. And the thing is, the training, like servers and bartenders are trained in
Hmm.
classes to understand like slurred words, uh,
Mm.
certain things that people say and things like that. Like they start up a conversation. How many drinks do they give? You have to time it. You can't have so many drinks at one time. So,
Mm,
like I can say, okay, let me get a beer and a shot. They may give you that. But if you get this and that, two alcoholic drinks, they'll say, okay, I'm gonna give you this, and then they'll wait to give you another one.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
Now certain places like a country club, because it's different. I've seen people chase, liquor with wine, and but
mm,
they only can get that at country club because it's a private establishment. You couldn't get that in a restaurant. So it's so many blames to go around. You can throw a dart. You can literally close your eyes and throw a dart and hit one. But
mm-hmm,
the training, um, you know, they're not trained. That they're a stewardess are not trained to know that someone's drunk. Um, I'm assuming he probably is in first class, and that's why they probably is first class. They would give you because in second
It
class you got to
doesn't,
pay
but
for
you know
it.
what? Oh, Chef Cap, here it is. It doesn't matter first class coach or whatever. What
Hmm?
also doesn't kind of matter is without even training, we all know at some point when enough is enough. If all the passengers recognize that this man was drunk, then before that stewardess brought the second, third, fourth, or fifth drink, she had to know also. And she should have brought him some coffee. And I'm saying she, but it could have been a he. But whoever it was, they could have knocked it off and stopped it. Their witnesses of passengers saying that he was out, he had excessive, they said he was drinking an excessive amount of liquor. That's what the
Hmm.
passengers are saying,
Okay,
talking incoherently, asking the
but
same questions about of somebody's family over and over again. Go ahead.
what's the excessive amount of liquor? What's excessive to you may not be excessive to me. That's someone's opinion. So I mean, but you have to, like I said, when you're serving, and I don't know what the law is for stewardess, especially he was on Air India, so I'm assuming he was coming from overseas. So I don't know what the law is for that. But restaurants can be held responsible for somebody leaving their establishment pissy drunk and they get into a car or whatever. So you have to know these things. You have to know this the situation and what goes on. Now, as far as him peeing on the woman, if I was the family, I'd be filing a lawsuit right now because that's assault and this assault with a little weapon. So they definitely should be filing a lawsuit, and this shouldn't happen again. So not only should he be fired, the stewardess should be fired for serving them. They need to be retraining the stewardess on how to. The Alcohol Beverage Commission, which is the ABC, do train them. I've been trained by them in several different states, and this is so many faults, but the stewardess is at fault and he's at fault.
And the whole crew is at fault, right? Because they knew this happened, and none of them called the authorities so that when that plane landed, he would have got arrested. They wanted to cover this up. They're messy, and I think they be just drinking it up on Air India. Because, like I said, another man did the same thing. He was pissy drunk, but he just happened to pee in an empty seat. How disgusting. I don't even want to get on their piss filled planes. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are if you pee on me, it won't be called Air India anymore. It's going to be called Air E, okay? Because it's being reported that he urinated on this elderly woman. So to make her return to her seat, that's what got me. Like, and without any sort of accommodation, it's reprehensible, it's degrading, it's embarrassing, and it's immortalized as the story that's taken off and grown legs. I mean, this will be around forever. Both the airlines and Dr. I think his name is pronounced Bacharchi are equally to blame 100%. It's the airline's job to make sure that they are providing a safe and nonviolent environment within
Exactly.
reasonable consideration. So it's the passenger's job to hold their liquor if they order it. Nobody's forcing you to drink this. Nobody's forcing you to order it. Just because it's available, it doesn't mean you have to do it. So being inebriated is no excuse to assault me because if you urinate on me, you have assaulted me. That's, I mean, or worse. So she needs to call Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. Both parties need to pay this woman. They owe her so much money she'll never have to fly commercial again. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's a messy situation. I do believe that, you know what, all parties involved need to pay the price for this. It's a hot mess, okay? And I'm just like, all I could think about is, first of all, imagine you sitting there. You're ready. You know she was throwing. She was dealing with a whole lot because, like the passenger said, he was drunk. He was drunk. So this poor woman had to hear his rants, probably most of the flight, and then insult to injury, she gets peed on. Okay. So, and I'm sure it was a long pee because he probably had to release all that alcohol that was in him. Yes, exactly. Pay that woman for her trauma. Shut down Air India. They're a mess. So we're going to pull into the next stop, okay? And the next stop is we're talking about, unfortunately, whew, this story right here. I was in shock that a 6-year-old brought a pow pow, because we know we got to watch our words on YouTube, to school in his backpack, okay? They said it was his mother's pow pow. They said that, the class was in the room with the teacher when he fired off the pow pow, and it hit her in the chest through her hand. And this woman, superhero, which a lot of teachers are, this woman's superhero made sure she got everyone, all of those kids, out of the room to safety, then got herself to the office, okay? So she thought about the kids. And then there was other people that was restraining the 6-year-old until the cops got there because he was acting belligerent. He was acting out. And I'm saying he because they're not really releasing a whole lot of information on the child.
Right?
I've
Because
been
they.
digging and looking, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this child was acting out and they had to hold him down. And so this teacher is a twin, and her twin had to start a GoFundMe. So to help with all the medical expenses and everything else. And so far, the last I read, they raised $65,000. The last I read, the teacher is still, in not the best condition, but doing better.
Right. She's not critical.
Okay. Huh?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was not mute. I was like, yeah, she's not critical.
She's
And
not critical, like, but again, not, not out of the woods, so to speak, yet. She's a superhero like a lot of teachers. And these teachers now, they need to get paid extra money, period, anyway, because they wasn't getting paid enough, period. But in addition to that, they need to add another 10, 15, $20,000 for combat pay.
yep.
All of these teachers are going through too much. Too much. And then, wait, there was about 16 or 17 children that they're going to work with a child psychologist to get a statement from. When I was reading this story, I said, this is crazy. They're
Mm-hmm.
also going to look into um, seeing did he have past history. And I'm almost willing to bet my bottom dollar that he did. But
Yes.
here's the problem: kicking these kids out of the schools when they're problematic. What they do is, hold on a second. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. All I want to know is, was he black? If so,
I
oh
don't think.
Lord.
I
I
don't think
don't
so.
know. They're not giving us much detail, but I'm gonna say this, unfortunately and sadly. I highly doubt he is because I think that information would have been leaked out if he was.
Hundred
That's
percent.
that's what I'm thinking, but I could be just 100% wrong. So so they wanted. So now the kids are already traumatized. They're young. They're only 6. They're already traumatized. Now you want to work with a child psychologist so you can get a statement from them saying what? Leave those kids alone. Let the child psychiatrist work with them just so they won't be traumatized for the rest of their life about coming to school and living out in the world. This happened to them in their 6. Okay? You want a statement from them? You know this
Yeah.
kid did it. What else do you need from these kids?
I have the answer.
Okay, but give me a minute, Robin. Okay, so and it's just very sad to me that now a teacher can't just teach. They never could just teach, to be very honest with you. Because the simple fact is you always are dealing with, the environment that the kid came from. Did they have enough food to eat? Do they have clothes? Do they have this? Teachers go through a lot. I commend every teacher. God bless y'all. Right.
Mhm.
So this teacher she's amazing, absolutely amazing. Cause I didn't know that she had already got shot. Then she made sure all of those kids got out of that room and was safe, and then
Mhm.
crawled her way. Yeah, I'm saying crawl, but I don't. You understand what I'm trying to say? To the
Mhm.
administrative office to get herself help. Now, this mother, this is what we got to add to this conversation. In my mind, wholeheartedly, should be brought up against charges too. But
Mhm.
they said that it's a class 1 misdemeanor when you have a pow pow in your house and you didn't properly lock it up so that a kid wouldn't get to it. So I don't know what sentence a class 1 misdemeanor can hold, but I'm feeling like it's not that serious.
What
But
state was this?
The consequences aren't as serious.
What
the
state was this?
I gotta go back. I
Virginia.
got
Right, right, Virginia. I
Virginia.
think.
That's right, Virginia. Okay, and then let me just add this, and then I'm gonna go around and talk to everybody. What type of environment was this child growing up in
Mhm. Mhm.
that your conflict resolution is that you're gonna go home, get a pow pow, and come do this in the classroom? And I don't know if he was particularly aiming for the teacher or if he aimed and it got her first. Um,
Mm.
I don't know because the details are sketchy. And while we have this conversation, do we really have to end up having detectors? What do you call them things
Metal
for
Metal
detectors.
for
detector.
metal detectors for the kids to go into the school? Like this is insanity. And so the last thing I want to say is what happens a lot of times now with problematic children, because the Catholic schools will almost take anybody.
Mm.
Once some of these problematic kids get kicked out of every public school, their parents find the money to put them in a Catholic school. And then they go terrorize the Catholic school.
Right, because they
So
don't address the problem.
go okay, I'll stop there. Go ahead, Robin, you speak.
I'll go
And
next
I
after
and
Rob.
I'm just gonna grab some water. But Robin, go ahead and speak. I'm just grabbing water. Go ahead and speak though.
Okay. Okay, I like to start with talking about the value of talking to the children. Um, Diva thinks that it's traumatizing. I think it can serve a dual purpose of both gathering information because they need it for the record to really determine exactly what happened. And it can also be used as a therapeutic tool for the students who witnessed that to help them work through whatever happened. One of the other things that Diva talked about is conflict resolution, and there is no conflict resolution. I think that's a big part of the problem here. I suspect that moving forward, we're going to find out that this kid has probably, I feel like Al Reynolds has probably exhibited some kind of oppositional and defiant behavior when while he was arrested. This is also crazy because the kid was arrested, but in his state there is no provision for law enforcement intervention for any person who is under the age of 11, and so that is something else to consider. My suspicion is that they'll probably have the kid psychologically evaluated. And if it is deemed that he needs some kind of treatment, he will probably be committed to some sort of treatment facility and then reevaluated at age 11 to see if he's progressed or not. About the parents, I think that if it was me, and I don't know a lot about the law there, I pretend like I know about a lot of places, but I know what I know. But I
Mm.
imagine they're going to have to be, we have to point the finger of blame somewhere. It'll probably be with the mother who is the owner of the weapon. The question will then come about whether or not it was secured. We do know we talked about this notion of premeditation absolutely was a premeditated. Um, it was premeditated in the sense that the kid was had the forethought enough to pack the weapon away in his backpack. We need to wait and find out what precipitated his feeling that he needed to come packing. We don't know if he was having issues with the teacher or other students. And there's a lot to unpack here. And sadly, they're telling us a whole lot, but not a lot of anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy to know that the teacher survived and the other students survived. This is very serious, it's sad, it's precarious, and it's going to be for a lot of us a case study moving forward.
Hmm. I would
Yeah.
like to go
So,
next.
Sebastian, I'm gonna come to you. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm a 20-year educator. There are not enough mental health services for our children, especially in the school system. I do agree with you. I want to say this, Robin, and we'll go to Sebastian, and we'll get around to some others. And if I have to come back to you, they keep saying premeditated. I think that's teen too much. We have all of these
Right.
studies that show about when our brain gets developed. So now they
Exactly.
want to throw on this kid's back at 6 years old when we have that 16, 17 years old cannot make sound and right decisions. Um, do I think that he knew he was taking the pow pow with him? Yes. Do I think that he might have had a thought about something? Do I think it was so deeply premeditated and all of that? I'm not 10 toes down on that just yet. But Sebastian, what do you want to
But
add to this conversation?
before you go to Sebastian, I would like you to let us not. If you don't have to do it right now, but I want you
Uh-huh.
to consider what you just said. What we when we use that word that premeditation, that term, we adultize it in a different kind of way. When it's just like if you a kid on the playground and somebody beats you up, what's going to happen when you see them the next day? The next day, I think I'm gonna punch him in his face first. That's premeditation. So I don't want us to overblow or not give the right weight to what those words premeditation mean. And just because it seems more advanced that there is this instrument involved, that it's not premeditated. We often sit back and like, oh, so I'm gonna get them. And that's really what premeditation is. And it does not, we know we can really just break it down to just what a retaliatory measure is, no matter what the exact device or circumstance, if it's a fist, if it's a word, if it's saliva, what we gonna do to that person? That is premeditated.
Okay, Robert, let me just let Sebastian in and get around to some other
Thank you for
people. But
letting
I
me say
do,
that.
yeah, no problem. But I hear what you're saying. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. The pow pow been in my house from the time the kids was born. The kids knew gun safety from the time they could talk. We're all strapped. Mom is responsible. And you know what, Tracy, I hear you. And see, that's part of the difference too. You are a product of your environment. So I do
Yes.
wonder what the
Hmm.
heck was going on in that household. Sebastian, it's your turn.
Okay, first, I would like to say I know I'm gonna get dragged, but it's okay. Um,
Huh?
I know I'm gonna get dragged for what I'm about to
Okay.
say, but it's okay. I still love everyone.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the kid knew what the gun could do.
Right.
I don't think the kid knew what the gun could do. I think the kid probably saw his parents or saw her parents just shoot at stuff outside, and he or she just wanted to try it out too. And sadly, the teacher had to be involved in that trying. That's what I see in this situation. Do I
Mhm.
think the kid should go to prison? No,
No.
I don't. I don't. I don't think at 6 years old you really know what a gun can do that much. You probably see your parents just using it on things and stuff, and maybe people as well. Maybe the child has seen said parent use
The
the pow
child has
pow.
seen too much, apparently. The
Yes,
Right.
child has
child
seen
has
Right.
too
seen
much.
too much.
Um,
Right.
We can
and,
Hmm.
clearly
and,
see
and it's
that.
a shame. And this is child endangerment and child abuse. It's a
Mhm.
shame that a child has that much in them, that the thing is, I'm going to put this in my backpack and I'm going to go to school and this is going to go down. Let me just say, Dr.
But do you
Love, you're
think
in the building.
this?
Go ahead.
Or do you
But
think that maybe the parent probably told the child to like this thing, this toy gets rid of everyone who disrespects you or is mean to you, and said child
That
probably believed that
dark.
the teacher was kind of mean, so therefore said child believed the pow pow was an
Mm,
eliminator?
no, I don't think that.
I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
think
I
that.
don't know. And so okay, he's six. He's six. What the heck happened in 6 years of your life that it gets you to this point, and
So
then
I
they're locking you
oh,
up? So go ahead, Doctor Love.
so I think this really has to do with this child probably been had a what is that, a EAP.
Mhm.
This child probably
EBT.
have one of those. Secondly, he probably was being bullied. We don't know that. That's another reason to take something. And then the main thing that these children are involved with that I hear a lot of is these games. These
Mhm.
games. And then depending on his environment, if he is in an environment where we have to protect ourselves or die, then that's where I do not blame parents and I do not blame mothers, because sometimes you live where you have to live for the moment, and sometimes you
Mhm.
have to have a gun ready at any given time for any fools that want to come in your house.
Mm,
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't always go to blame the mother. I really would like to know the environment. I would like to know if this child have already been diagnosed with something, if he's a special child, as we call it.
mhm,
Like you said, there's a lot of variables here.
Mhm.
Premeditated, no, he did not plan this out. He did not have it premeditated. The definition do not match what a 6-year old can do.
Mhm.
So I don't think at all it was premeditated at all. And I just think it's either his environment or games or both.
So here's the thing when I'm saying with the mom. If I have a pow pow in my house, and if anybody, if this kid did have issues, the first person that would definitely know is the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying she got some responsibility in this, right? So you're the mom, you have a pow pow in your house, you have a kid that has issues. Why is this thing not locked up to the point where this kid cannot just readily get it, put it in his backpack? And as a mom and a 6 year old, and I'm not judging, but aren't you packing and checking still at 6 years old, your kid's backpack and all that? Making sure the homework and everything is in there
Not
or
if you
whatever
live.
else?
No, not if you living in a projects. And if these parents are in the projects, these two, she done taught that little boy how to grab that gun if need be. So for him to go to that school and shoot it, he knew how to shoot that gun. So
mhm.
yeah, that mother then taught him, somebody come in his house, you go and grab that gun.
That is true. That is true.
I've witnessed it. I've seen it a lot.
Okay.
Tracy has a very good point. Tracy
So,
has a very good
yeah,
point.
so Tracy, thank you for the super chat. A special child did Sandy Hook stop the excuses.
True.
Okay, this is a 6 year old though. Thank you, Tracy, for the super chat.
Yes.
This is a
Different
6 year
animals.
old, and I think
Animals.
that's what has me stuck here. Chef Kev, you're in the building. What do you want to say about this?
We're not giving them
Okay.
excuses. We're just saying what could have happened. No
Right,
excuses. Yeah, we're just saying what could have
Uh,
happened without knowing everything or knowing anything really.
right.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead, Chef Kev.
well, I don't. Well, from what I've seen on TV, I don't think he lives in the project. So they showed the home. They
Mm-hmm.
showed the house. So I don't think he lives in the project. It had nice green grass and the whole thing. So
Hood
that
that
part.
houses. Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm torn here because I really want to completely 100% blame the parents, and
Okay.
because my mom had a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember when she came home with the weapon. I was about 12 years old, and she gave it to me. I will never forget this. She gave it to me. It was unloaded. She gave it to me, and she called me. She called me in the kitchen. She said, "Here," and she gave me the weapon. Like, here, right?
Mm,
And I played with it. I lie to you not. I ran around the house. I squeezed it, click, 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 click. I was in the room. I was all over the place, and I don't know how. She said, "Let me know when you're done." I don't know why she did it. I just ran around the house, ran around the house, ran around the house, and I gave it back to her when I was done playing with it, right? And she sat there and she said, "All right, don't play with it no more." Okay. I was 18 and 19 years old when I found out her coworker told her to do it and said, "Give him the gun, let him play with it as much as he would. I
Mhm.
guarantee he'll never touch it." And I never even thought about it. I never even thought about the gun. And I grew up in the project. I never even thought about it. So even though it's different, but my thing is, you have a licensed weapon, no training of how to lock up this gun, how to, and I agree with Diva. My mom was checking my bag. My mom was checking my bag. So and I came home and she was working and in school. And so when I went to my neighbor's house, she checked my bag to make sure I did my homework. So there was no way, and I just think Hot Wheels cars in school. That's why you check my bag. But the other side of it is, you know, not only was it not locked, was the gun not locked up. They said him and the teacher got into an altercation,
Mhm.
so he knew when to pull it. Okay,
Mhm.
it's like cussing. You know when to cuss. Some of these kids cuss, but they know when to use. Like, okay, you've been around somebody,
Right.
so he knew when to use it. He didn't just automatically pull it out and shoot. He actually got into an altercation with the teacher, and then he pulled out or reached for the gun or whatever the situation is. But like I said, the crime don't happen without the gun.
Right.
And so that's why I blame the parent because you can't get access to the gun. I don't know where my mother kept her gun at. I never looked for it a day in my life. But the thing is like you got. I know certain laws. I know Jersey laws is the gun can't be next to the gun can't be loaded in the house
Right.
unless you have to. You can't be you can't have one in the chamber and things like that. You have to unload the gun. So I don't understand that scenario. I really don't. I've been racking my brain with it myself, trying to figure out the situation and trying to play it out. But I don't see because a gun is not light for him to put that in his bag and then the kickback from the gun. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff, he could have misfired the gun, hit another kid. Like all that, and then he couldn't. At 6 years old, where you hiding the gun at? So for him to walk up to the front of the class, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
is that the whole? Unless he was sitting in the front seat, that's all I can think of. So my thought process is the mother should be charged for reckless endangerment for that for that situation. She should be charged for what you call that? Child endangerment. Every charge she put towards the mother because you did not. Granted, the fact she had a license, she didn't secure her gun. And that's the issue I had with it. She didn't secure her gun. Her gun should have been locked up somewhere.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so wait, Derby Diva, I do agree with you. Hood projects, suburbs, mansion or whatever. Regardless, that child shouldn't have had access to a loaded gun. I agree
And I
with you wholeheartedly, 100%. Go ahead, Shaq.
and I'm glad my child is out of school because
Mhm.
I don't know what I would have did. I'm not, somebody gonna have to pay. Okay, I don't believe in fit, but I'd have been in that woman's face. I'd have been in that woman's
But that's
face.
why they're not really letting us know too much information. But let's be clear, there was a guy who just took 4 lives at a college.
Mhm.
There's people that get done in at their jobs. Nobody's safe anymore, no matter what the venue is or where the place is. Okay,
Yeah.
the guy went in Walmart.
Yes.
This guy out of college, and he looked like a normal, regular person, and just sick and crazy. Okay, sitting there and
Mhm.
hearing the charges of what he did. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. That's what I'm being charged with. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't matter anymore. It's everywhere.
Mhm.
Something needs to be done. The mental health across the board it's crazy right now. E, what do you want to say about this situation?
First thing first. Rewrite the laws. I'm tired of this. If people can't be responsible with their weapons, and if people can't be responsible for what their kids do with their weapons, then the government needs to come in and take those weapons. Because I have a child to raise too.
Uh-uh.
I said
Mm.
it. I have a child. Listen, why is it that me and my child have to walk on eggshells out of fear our lives will be in danger because you had a baby, you live in the hood, and your baby daddy is not around and your child has mental issues? Absolutely not. They need metal detectors everywhere. On the news, and I also was looking at some blogs, they stated that the kid had brought bullets to school the week prior. They
Mm,
said they said that he threatened that he was going to bring the pow pow the following week. They said that
Oh.
the teacher reported it, but the school didn't do anything about it. They
Mm,
also
mm,
said
mm.
that it's been documented that this teacher has had problems with this same child before. This
Mm,
little
mm,
person
mm.
has to be held accountable as an adult because it will serve as a deterrent from other kids who even think about committing a crime similar. And also, the mother needs to be given the maximum penalty to serve as another
Yes.
deterrent because parents need to know that you are responsible for your little human and what your little human does. Because if you know that you have consequences, you will be more apt to instill some better qualities into your child. I know you can't control your child 100%, but we have to do better. This is unacceptable. Where is the justice? Because I also want to talk about, it's kind of offensive to me when I was watching the news report and the police chief was thanking everybody. He was thanking the officers and thanking the school district for a job well done. Excuse me, somebody is in the hospital. Somebody almost
Yeah.
lost their life, and that little person
Yeah.
intentionally aimed for that teacher. So where is the justice? All we keep talking about is how the child didn't know and he's just a baby. And no, when you make grown up decisions, you have to suffer the adult consequences. Stop babying these kids because they know when they're doing something wrong. When I was 6 years old and I did something I knew I wasn't supposed to do, I knew. These
There
people
you
know
go.
when they're doing something wrong, but they do it anyway. They
It
know
dep-
fighting is bad. They know weapons are wrong because every child at 6 years old, that's the first grade. You know what police are, you know what the jail is, and you know you don't want to go there. I don't care if you live, especially if you live in the hood, you know who the police are, and you know what the jail is, and you know you don't want to go there. How about that? So
How about that?
what I'm not willing to do is put this child's mental health over the safety and livelihood and sanity over everybody else. That teacher,
Hmm.
her family, and all those other kids and their families in that school and classroom. This has affected so many people who even lack the resources to cope properly. And then this little person, is going to get free counseling and he's going to become a ward of the state. No, you have got to be kidding me. It drives me insane that people can rationalize the betterment of one outweighing the betterment of most. His mental health and him not having a dad, and that's all his mom. That's his family's problem to deal with, not everybody else. Lock them up because you don't get to enact your violence upon me just because you're having a bad day. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 4.
all
mm.
right, E. Thank you for your comments. Give me a minute. Derby Diva, I'm connecting with you. We on the train car bar ourselves. But I'm connecting you with you. Why do parents who live in the hood or projects have to do with it? Like
because that's because that's what
most
they
of the
said.
school. Hold on one second. Most of the school pow pows are suburban middle class child. So please stop the nonsense. Okay.
It's not
So hold
nonsense.
on, E. Hold on, E. Let me just say this. And Sebastian said, "Have a heart, E. Have a heart." So here's the
I do
thing.
have a heart for the person in the hospital.
Okay, so hold on one second. Here's the thing. If there's evidence that this kid was having problems way before this situation, then the system failed him. His
Right,
parents have failed him.
right.
A 6-year-old can't raise themselves.
Facts.
Now, we have parents for a reason. When we're
Exactly.
born, you're supposed to
Mhm.
nurture us. You're supposed to take care of us. You're supposed to teach us. You're supposed to train us. Okay?
Thank
What is
you.
that proverb? Train a child up and for the way you want them to go.
So,
So,
Diva,
it, I'm going to come back to you. Give me a second. If I have a child and I'm in the house carrying on like a fool, that child may not stand a chance. What does he know? So we're
Mm.
blaming all of this on a child that's only been here 6 years. He knew
Generational
I'm not
nothing and
curses.
blaming.
stuff.
No,
But
I'm
we
not
have,
blaming.
well, hold on. I'm gonna let you back in, but I gotta let these two new ones in. Give me 1 second. I will come back to you, E. This is a child who only lived 6 years on this earth. There are teenagers. There are adults that still don't know everything and are shocked when certain things happen. But I blame them more because they at least had the opportunity to research what they didn't know. He's 6 years old. I'm not saying that he is a priority over the others, but we gotta back this thing up a little bit. You brought bullets to the school. There's been other problems with you. Why was he still there?
In that
Um,
lady's classroom.
yeah,
Exactly.
It
and
has
that
nothing
part.
to do with that
Zeta,
woman in the hospital. She deserves justice too. Just because the system failed you, that doesn't mean I have to suffer the consequences. This person has to be held accountable. Yes, it's not fair that this happened to him, but that doesn't mean you get to go around and hurt other people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, that's good. I'm saying that he's too far gone. If we want to talk about statistics, and Diva, I shared this with you about me going into the education field. This is frightening to me. There needs to be metal detectors, but listen to me. If you
I
cannot
agree.
afford the mental health to stabilize these children in their homes, if we cannot fix them in that way or help them, I should say, that doesn't mean that you get to violate. What if it wasn't a teacher? What if it was another kid? What would you say to their families? You don't get to do this to somebody and then say, "Oh, I didn't have the best shot at life. Oh, my mother taught
no,
me
no,
this."
no, E, I
No.
think we're missing each other on that. But give me a minute, Zeta. You're in the building. What would you like to say about this situation?
Hi, Diva. Hi, chat.
Hey,
So I'm actually studying to become a teacher as well. I'm going to be a high school science teacher. So, like, this is
Yay!
kind
Thank you. Thank you.
We need a lot of
of,
you guys. Thanks.
yeah. So I think it's really nerve wracking because in my university, I actually survived a school shooting. So it's really like, I feel bad for the child because he is a child or they are a child and you don't know, like, they didn't know better. I feel like the parents are the one at fault because they didn't raise the child up to, I don't know, I guess to do the right thing. Because if you know that you have a gun, you should know to put it away. You should teach your child not to play with it. I also like how Chef Kev stated that his mother let him like use the gun so he can like get it out of his system. I feel like that's a
Right.
really interesting way to go about it. But I also feel like the parents should be held accountable for what did happen at the school. I feel so horrible for the teacher as well, and I wish her the best. And I think that the mom that should compensate the teacher for what happened. The child should be removed from that school and sent to maybe a facility that will I guess help with their mental capacity. Yeah.
thank you. So that child needs deep, long-term therapy.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if we can even mix this child anytime soon back with the population. Um, he was failed. And I don't know if the
Exactly.
dad's involved, but the parents definitely get an F, in my opinion. You get a straight F. Okay. So, and then that goes to the point where everybody shouldn't have kids. Everybody shouldn't have kids. But Star, you're in the building. Let me let you in. What do you want to say about this situation?
Hey Diva, hey everyone.
Hey.
Thanks for letting me up. I was getting kind of emotional as I was listening to the young lady, I think E speaking. I want to
Mhm.
say this as a mother, um, raising a son, he's 16. I just think the world, we just need to all come together. It really takes a village. We can blame the hoods, we can blame whomever. No, we need to all come together. We need to stop saying it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. Let change. We need to really change that. This was a 6-year old kid. Clearly, there is something going on within that household.
Mhm.
How he
Mhm.
was able to get that gun, of course, they have not disclosed that. So clearly, that means something is wrong in the household. But for the young lady to say, "Oh, well, the baby daddy, the da 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 da," man, bump all of that. Okay, because if the baby daddy not there, so what? That's why we need to come together as a community and help one another. Too many times, here we go with the baby daddy, the baby mama, the hood stuff. And so what? If you come up in the hood or you got a baby daddy, let's help. That's when we should be helping each other more. That doesn't mean we get to turn a blind eye to a kid who comes up in not the best of neighborhood. Because guess what? They out there shooting in the suburbs and they got both of their parents.
So it's a
You're
situation.
speaking facts there, right? So here's the thing, Star. You brought up a good point there about we got to get back to the village concept, right?
Yes.
Um, Single mom right here, but I will say this wholeheartedly. I don't even know how I would begin to even have done what I did without the village. And I
Exactly.
Right.
promise you that. So I am extremely fortunate because when I worked at the hospital, it was 12-hour shifts. Who
Hmm.
can work a 12-hour shift without the village? And they have young
Exactly.
kids. I don't know
Hmm.
who because I
Yep.
went to work before he had to be to school and I got out of work late, way after he was out of school, and I was getting home when it was time for him to pretty much go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And when I tell you, hands down, I thank God every day because he's 17 and to this moment, it's the village.
Yeah.
Yep.
The village
Mm-hmm.
bought his car, his first car, okay? Listen, the village paid for the insurance. When my insurance company called me today, they just called me today, and they was like, did he get his license? I said, yes, he did. And I said, he has his own insurance. And they was like, oh, then your insurance is not going to go up. Everybody was freaking me out because he's a boy. And they said, once he gets his license, your insurance is going to go off the roof. But you see how the village stepped in? So what I'm
Right.
saying, I connect
Right.
with you
I
200%.
got
We got to care about our neighbor.
Yep.
Caring and sharing. But not only that, when you care about your neighbor, it's going to help impact you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Because a
my
kid,
thing is, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, because one thing, a troubled kid, like,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to turn about, oh, that kid is bad. Oh, look at the mama. Oh, what about if you just be that one person that gives that one kid some sympathy, some empathy, and just
Some
really be
attention.
there for them? I was watching the fight over the weekend. What's the young man's name? I don't watch it all the time, but he's the one who just fought on Saturday. And I bring that up to say the gentleman that was in his documentary, he had been with that kid since his youth. He's not his biological father. He's not
Mm,
none of that. He wasn't even sleeping with the mama or none of that. He just, from what I can remember, he just so happened to be like a
a
gentleman that either
mentor,
worked at their school or somewhere. But he
Mm-hmm.
stuck with that young man through everything because you know why? Because he seen something in him. Now, what if he wasn't in his life? You know what I mean? So that's
Right.
just one example, but that's just what I'm saying. We have to, instead of saying, "Oh, that kid is bad," "Oh, this kid is this," "Oh, this," let love on them. Be that one
one
person if you
person,
can. And
right?
that's why I
One
want to
person
say
can
shout out
change their life.
to Zeta. You said that you're on your way to becoming a science teacher. I commend you. Being a teacher is not a hard job. You guys are not paid enough. That's something
Right.
that I'm going to try to work on myself. Like that's one law we need. Pay these teachers more,
Yes,
Right.
please. And that's
yes.
all I want to say. Thank you for letting me come up.
Thank
Yes.
you for coming up. You brought up some
Mm-hmm.
really good points, and we need to get back to the village concept. I totally believe in that. Roy, yeah, you're in the building. What did you want to add to this conversation?
Oh my goodness, Star said it all. I was really gonna just piggyback on what Star said. We really have to stop, looking for who to blame and what to blame and really start just really honestly taking responsibility for our community. One parent's failure, in my opinion, is everybody's failure if we're gonna look at it from a village standpoint and really being together on one accord. So instead of pointing a finger and blaming, let's pick up the pieces and begin to form back the village in his life. Unfortunately, in my opinion, there has been some abuse going on in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Children
Mm-hmm.
do not come out of the womb, looking for guns to load excuse me, looking for a pow pow to load a pow pow. These are not normal activities that a 6-year old would be doing on a day-to-day basis. So obviously there's some things going on in the home that are being taught or that are being done in the presence of the child that should not be. And so ultimately, we do have to place responsibility, first of all, on the parent, because as a parent, it is your responsibility to make sure that your children are seeing things that are appropriate for their age and their eyes and their ears. And if we're going to fix this, we have to show that somebody's got to be the example. We can't just let anybody just slide off on this. There's blame to be placed on the parent. In my opinion, there's blame to be placed on the school because there are
100%.
signs to be shown before it gets this far. So,
Mhm.
is there
Mhm.
paperwork that has shown that this child has had erratic behavior? Because we just don't wake up one day and come to school and just have erratic behavior. There has to
Right.
be a pattern somewhere. And
Yep.
so even though we haven't gotten the full story, they're definitely not sharing the full story. And I believe that there's more information behind this. And we really need to, look deeper into, was there a report made? Is this the first time him and the teacher have had a situation? Is there any students in the class that he is having issues with? What is really going on? I think that therapy for the students is a good idea, but I don't think right now, from an investigation standpoint, no. I think we first need to deal with the feelings and the emotions of exactly what has happened, especially if the pow pow happened in front of these students. There's going to be some
Mhm.
serious critical mind therapy that needs to happen in order for
Mhm.
them to move forward to even begin to start learning, let alone be in a building that they have, watched. Unfortunately, nobody was taken, but a massacre. Literally, that's what it's become for us now. And I
Mhm.
just really think we have to, like the last caller said, we have to stand together as a community, take responsibility for what has happened, and pick up the pieces and move forward in a positive, healthy, loving way.
I agree. You couldn't have said it better. Hold on one second, guys. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. She said the mom knew the child's temperament, which makes it even worse that she had such a deadly weapon, so easily accessible to this kid who had a temperament as such. I think the school is going to do some cover up. I think for
Oh yeah.
sure they knew this kid had issues.
Mhm.
I think that they wasn't dealing with them, but I
Mhm.
also think that it's hard sometimes to get a kid kicked out of the school. There's so many things that need to be fixed, okay? Because suspension is not easy to do. Getting a kid kicked out of school is not easy to do, especially when you're in the public schools, because public schools have rules that if you live within a certain radius, you have to go to XYZ school.
Yeah,
Um,
but they
so
could have put him in a special classroom if they seen all of these issues. They
Well,
could have removed him from the classroom.
I don't believe anymore in the state of Virginia those rules apply, as in zone
Oh.
schooling. I don't think they zone school anymore in Virginia ever since their new governor.
Oh, and
They do.
another
They do.
point I'm wondering is that parent or parents on drugs? It's a lot of missing factors here that I would love to know more before I just outright say um this child need to go to jail.
well, I'm not. I'm okay. So I was shocked when I first heard the story. Because I was like, "What do you mean he was hand? Like, the person. I don't think they say handcuffed. In my mind, when they said jail, I just pictured the kid being handcuffed. So I don't want to put that out there, and I don't know that for a fact. But I'm like, who? How do you bring a 6-year-old to jail? What jail is equipped for a 6-year-old? Like, this is crazy. Like, how
And
does that happen?
that
Um,
was my problem, Diva. Like, how do out of all of the institutions that we have here in America, jail was the institution that you chose to put this child in? Like, jail? Not juvenile detention, not a hospital, not a mental facility. Jail?
He
I,
wasn't
I,
in
I,
jail.
huh?
They had to take him to a mental facility first before they even took him to DH. So they had to take him to a mental facility first to get evaluated. I do know that much here in Ohio.
Hmm.
So here's the thing. I think we all have a lot of feelings on this. I think, for me, the responsibility definitely starts in the home. I do think there's a lot going on in that home, but I also think, and you know what? I'm gonna give it to them, right? I also think that they are highly protecting the identity for several reasons. And because we don't need chaos in this situation either, right? So I do understand why they're trying to keep the identity under wraps. But listen, there's a whole school of people who know the identity. So that doesn't mean that it's going to be under wraps like forever, right? Because obviously the people who went to that school, They know the kid, they know the parents, they know what went down. The kids, unfortunately, just imagine the best years of your life, well, some of the best years of your life is remembering when from preschool, if you went to preschool, all the way to the 12th grade. Like those are your greatest memories. And I always think it's so horrible when those memories are snatched away from children by incidents like this. How could you ever look at school the same way when your teacher was hurt right before your very eyes? I do believe from the last thing I read, he did it in front of the kids. And that's why she had to usher the kids out of there while she was hurt. While she was hurt. Okay. She could potentially have been losing her life and she thought about those kids. But that's what many teachers do. Okay. They love the children, they love teaching. And that's why they go into that particular profession. But maybe what's going to have to happen is, and see, here's the thing. This, I guess, no matter what, there needs to be a metal detector at every school, at every door,
Diva,
and even go ahead.
I support metal detectors. I actually was when I was in high school, I actually said that. And my teacher said, well, some people argue that could literally raise anxiety in children, the fact that they have to go under metal detectors, which I could care less if it concerns safety. I'm sorry, I could care less about your anxiety if it concerns the safety of everyone's well being. Too bad you're going to have to stick it up and put your anxiety to the side. Make sure you take your Xanax if you have to take it. Tack it down.
Can
So
I ask you a question?
somebody, Sheila, hold on one second. I'll let you back in. Sheila suggesting clear backpacks. That would help, but I still say clear backpacks and metal detectors. Lamar says, shh, I throwed his bad behind right in jail and
That's
charge
right.
him as an adult. You want to play grown, you're going to get treated as such. He's
That's
six.
right.
He's
Can I ask
six.
a
I know
question?
Lamar, you connected with E, but he's six. He's
Put him in
six.
jail.
I don't know. Okay. Before we move on to the next subject, I do want to go around and just make this clear to see how everybody's feelings is. Wait, you're leaving. I'm leaving education. It changes. It has changed so much. Clear backpacks are needed. Clear backpacks are needed. Metal detectors are needed. And then you know what? And then you do the, you know how at the airport or whatever, in the courthouse they have the little stick and they check you too. You need all of that, and it's a shame, but that's what needs to happen. Auntie Robin, just so we clear, what should be done with this 6 year old? Are you there? Did I lose everybody? Can everybody else hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Yes, he's probably on
She,
mute.
she probably is. Sebastian, what should we do with the 6 year old?
The 6 year old, I'm going to have to say this. The 6 year old is going to have to be committed into a mental youth institution, and therefore if the child after 6 years maybe is able to reintegrate back into society, maybe he or she shall be reintegrated again with vigilant supervision. Um, but I don't see that happening, so he's probably gonna have to be in there for more than double of his life, of
We're
his
gonna give
current life.
a six. We're gonna give a 6 year old life.
No, I'm not saying life. I'm saying more than double of the life he's already have lived. Like he's probably gonna have to do 12 years maybe in a mental institution. I'm thinking he's gonna have to do a mental institution. I'm sorry. He's not gonna have to go to jail, but he's gonna have to do something mentally focused because that's where he's gonna be watched the most. And if he was able to do this while being watched the most, imagine how we're gonna be able to make sure that he's not gonna do this again. And
Yeah,
this is all the school's fault. I'm saying this 100%. This is you can't tell me your child came with bullets a week before and you did not do anything. You did not even suspend the child. You did not expel the child because we all know this. We always see smoke before we see fire.
right.
So we y'all
True.
can't tell me this was everything was the signs were there and I don't know how they missed these signs.
Yeah. They ignored the signs. Let's say that. Lucy, the boy will never be right. I'm leaning towards that. Leaning towards that. Never right, never the same. And I'm praying with everything in me that this teacher survives and will be okay.
Have a
I
heart,
really am.
E.
Huh?
Have a heart. E needs to have a heart. E needs to have
He
a
needs to
heart.
have a heart. Okay, so 1 second, let me read this super chat. Best.bk, thank you for the super chat. Fact, there have been more school pow pows with the loss of life since metal detectors were brought into public schools. Wow, they are not the answer. Okay, I can't deny that because I don't know the research on that. So then we need an answer though, guys. We need a resolution. So thank you, Best.bk, for that information. But we need a resolution, right? What
Mm-hmm.
what are- what are we gonna do? We got to do something. I mean, the schools are locked, and unfortunately, that last situation that happened, allegedly somebody left the door open, and that's how the person that came and powed up the school got in.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the answer then? We do need an answer. This is a tough case. I'm going to continue to follow it. We'll have more discussion on it. But I wholeheartedly feel, y'all know how I feel. The parents are at a high level responsibility here. It starts at home. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely starts at home, and the parents or parent um owns a responsibility in this, and at the very least, a responsibility of why wasn't that locked up?
Yeah, if there was a parent at home, we don't know if this was a uncle gun or who gun, or do we know that? And how many times did he shoot this gun?
Yeah, it's a mess, and it's very sad, and it's a sad thing that we're living in a day and age where usually for a lot of people, no matter what was going on in their home, school was
Mm-hmm.
the safe haven.
Right.
Now school is not even safe. This is crazy. So let's move on to this next subject on the train. Okay, the train is coming.
Diva,
Yes.
before you move on, I just want to say I really, you know, let's for real, in all honesty, like in real life, y'all, we really need to like be serious and really pray for this child and for real have a heart of consideration for this child because at the end of the day, as we say on these reality TV shows, kids is off limit. This is a 6-year-old child who don't know nothing but what he has been taught by
Exactly.
whomever has showed it to him. So I really do
100%.
think we need to have as much as grace and mercy as we would have on any adult who would do this. We need to have as much as grace and mercy, especially for an innocent child who does not know.
Go ahead. Was somebody trying to speak? I was just trying to mute everybody just so we can hear exactly what Roya was saying, but I wasn't muting you to shut you up, okay? But you can speak. But hold on 1 second. Miss Gigi said, Diva, the world is just not a safe place anymore. Not even are you safe and at a church. Well, that part right there, right? It's insanity right now. It's insanity. Mental institution, definitely. Before I close out of this subject, anybody else on this subject, but Roya, I'm connecting with you wholeheartedly. He's 6. I'm not excusing what happened. I'm not trying to say, oh, I do not care about the victim. But this child was taught and brought up wrong. This is
Mm-hmm.
crazy,
Mm-hmm.
crazy,
Yeah.
insanity.
Mm-hmm.
He learned this from somewhere, and he
Mm-hmm.
learned it from that household. And that's the
Right.
other thing too. Whether you a single parent or you got a two-parent household, you gotta watch the elements that you
Yes.
allow in your sanctuary, which is your home. And I don't care what your home is and where it's located at. There
Right.
are people that have grown up in the worst environments and they are still not a product of that environment.
Environment. Right.
Yes, that is
Right.
true.
Because why?
Yes.
Within their home, they were taught right from wrong. Even though they was in the midst of a jungle, they was taught that you are not of the jungle. You don't act like you see what's going on here. I
Right.
grew up in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
My mom did not have no money. I promise you that. So I grew up and I saw it all. It went down. But my mom always told us, you gonna be in this house, and then probably none of y'all can relate to this before them street lights come on.
Oh yeah.
If them street lights come on and you still outside, you in trouble. Okay?
Baby, let me tell
So we
you, I was on
started,
punishment for a whole month. Coming in
okay.
after them street lights, I was mad, but I guarantee I didn't come in after them no more.
No, you learned your lesson. I'm
Right.
talking wherever you was at when you see those street lights going off and you wasn't near home or home, we started running to get to the house. And when we did get
Right.
there, we was apologizing. We
Yeah.
lost track of time, made a mistake. We would
Mhm.
never do it again. So my thing is, it's not about where you live. It's not about what you have.
It's how you live.
It's thank you, Dr. Love.
I have a question, Diva,
Yes,
Mhm.
because I think people misunderstand in the chat. I
yes.
didn't say that he did this because he was from the hood. People said, well, this person could not have had, maybe he didn't have the resources, maybe his father wasn't around. I threw those out there based upon what other people were saying because people use that as an excuse. My question to you is, we all develop our personalities and our gifts and our talents and our bad habits from somewhere. And we all
Mhm.
grow up and we can all attribute not being astute to being taught the right way and learning from trial and error. But
Mhm.
I want to know what stopped you all from not bringing a weapon to school? Because we've all had a teacher when we were younger that we didn't like. We've all experienced anger, and I'm sure we all have different mental mindsets. However, I want everyone to think about what if that teacher didn't survive? What if that was your mom? What if that was your aunt? What if that was your sister? I mean, we are speaking about this because we are on the outside looking in. And it's so much empathy saying, well, this kid did this kid did that. I mean, he didn't know. And, he's a victim of circumstances. We're all victim of our circumstances to a certain degree. Every single last one of us. No, not one of us up here, at least to my knowledge, was born with a silver spoon. And even if we were, we still had unfortunate things to happen to us in our lives. So what I'm saying is that can't necessarily be a crutch. Does that make sense?
I don't
I
It
think
makes sense,
understand.
E, but I feel
Wait,
like
hold
you're
on.
speaking from an adult standpoint. This is a
point. Right.
6-year old child.
That's
You're
not what I'm
speaking
saying,
from
Marianne.
experience as an adult. We're talking about from a 6-year old child standpoint.
That's not
It
what I'm
does not.
saying.
It, okay, okay. So clarify me. I'm sorry.
I'm not. I initially said, what stopped you all from bringing a pow pow to the schoolhouse and doing the same thing when you were 6 years old? What was it?
Well,
Okay,
see,
I'll tell
let
you
me say,
this.
hold on 1 second, guys. Let me say this first. Jessica, I want to say this. Yes, I do remember that commercial. But you want to know what the problem is now? Everything is streamed, and most everybody has these streaming system now, and you don't even have access to these any commercials. And I don't even know if they still play this commercial. But 100%, I remember this commercial where they used to say, "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" I
Right.
remember that commercial
Right. Yeah.
wholeheartedly. So I think we are running like, is it parallel? You gotta help me trains right now. We're on train A, you're on train B. We're missing each other's concepts slightly, and we're missing each other's concepts slightly. But the thing is, we want you to connect with our side, and you want us to connect with your side. What I'm saying to you is, I connect 100%. Okay, I connect that what happened to this teacher is wrong. But the part that I want where we're breaking the chain here is that school had a responsibility to that teacher.
That's
They
true.
knew this kid was problematic, and they made her deal with this kid every day in her classroom instead of getting that kid removed and helping that kid get some help. And it got to the point where he pow-powed her. And I do believe when all the evidence has come out, her family could sue the district, the school, and everybody because they knew the problems this child was having.
I
What
agree,
I
Eva.
also want to
As
say
she
is, you
should,
said,
and she
but
should
hold
sue
on,
the school system.
hold on 1 second. And you said, well, what stopped me from doing that? Well, not only did my parents teach me, conflict resolution, I went to church too. And I'm not trying to preach to anybody here and tell you what to believe in and not believe in.
Come
But
on.
every
Preach.
Sunday, but
Come on.
every Sunday, we could not wear church. Matter of fact, sometimes we
Every
went during
Sunday.
the week. Matter of fact, we had to go to Bible study. And what
Mm-hmm.
happened in all of these
Choir
things,
practice.
that part, they told us how to be kind to people, how to treat people, how to say sorry, how to handle when someone's doing something wrong against you. You got
How
to
to
learn these
love.
things, how to love. You got to learn these things from somewhere. But the
Mhm.
main point is it begins in your household.
And another main point is for me, we don't I don't have a mental illness. And another main point is I work with plenty of individuals, that's my job, that do have mental illness. So I know what it is for a person and especially a child to have a mental illness. So that's the main difference I feel like on this panel. I
Well, I
don't
didn't hear that he had a mental illness. Did they put that out there? I never heard that.
But wait,
um
hold on, E. Give me a
what
minute, Dr. Love. Give me a minute, E.
okay.
Tracy, you're new, you're in the building. What would you like to add to this conversation?
I just think that it's a really sad situation, and I believe that he's a product of his environment.
Yeah.
That there was a lot of influence and is a lot of influence coming from within the home.
Hmm.
He shouldn't have been able to have access to that weapon. Um, it's just sad. Like nowadays, these kids are just out of control, and now we're starting at the age of 6.
Yeah, we
Mm,
had respect. We had respect too back then. Much more respect for our teachers and elders. These kids don't have
It's
that.
lost because the states took it away.
Yep, the
They took
prayer
away the parents' ability to discipline the children.
and prayer.
Yeah, and prayer too as well. So without
mm,
discipline, what do you have?
yeah.
Violence.
Homeschool your children, guys. Homeschool your
No,
kids. Y'all
homeschool
gonna
is
have to
not. I
homeschool
don't have
them.
nothing. Here's the thing. I don't have, but imagine if he was homeschooled. He already had problems in the home. So,
But
and
he
some
wouldn't
of
be
these kids,
pow-powing teachers. He would not be pow-powing at school.
yeah, but it would have just been someone in the community, in his building, in the street, across the street, the neighbor, whoever.
Or his own
The
parents?
situation with
Can I
him,
say
right?
something real quick?
Wait, give me a minute, Chef Kev. I will let you. Give me a minute. The situation with him is this act would have came out somewhere, if not in the school. He needed help. Period.
Hmm.
Point blank.
Yep.
But it's very sad that at 6, I'm baffled.
Hmm.
At 6, that's only what, the first grade. You just left kindergarten where you was coloring in the happiest times of your life. 6 years old. Your conflict resolution is I'm going to get this pow pow, put it in my backpack. And when I get to school, that teacher's going to get it. So in your household, I want to say 10 toes down that you're hearing when somebody come up with you and there's conflict, this is what you do. He didn't just wake up and he was born like this. He's been seeing this, he's been hearing this, and this is what he became. Those parents are responsible. What did you want to ask, Chef Cap?
I'm gonna just ask you a question, and no one brought this up, but whatever happens to an ass whooping?
Hmm.
You can't do that nowadays.
Right. They
Well,
took
see,
it
but
Whatever.
away.
Chef Cap, here's
No,
the thing.
no, that's what
Oh,
kept me. I'm gonna tell you something. I was more afraid of my parents than I was afraid of anybody. I was more afraid of my parents than jail. I didn't steal because I was gonna go to jail. I didn't steal because I didn't want to see my mom and my dad.
right.
You say what you want. That extension cord and that belt meant something. Them Hot Wheels racetracks meant something. That broomstick meant something.
For
And I
you,
had
though, Chef
siblings I
Cap.
watched, and you would say whatever. I watched my siblings in front of me get beaten or something. I'm like, yes, I ain't doing that.
Right,
It
Right.
look,
but Chef Cap, that is not the only way to rear a child. There's
Right.
plenty of kids that have not ever had a beating. My kid is one of them, and they're
Right.
perfectly fine. So my thing is, it's about having a healthy respect for your parent. Period.
Mhm.
Period. So if you don't have respect for your parents, you
For
can be
life.
beaten, but you still don't have no respect for your parents, and you still a menace to society. So hold on one second. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. She said, I sense a cover up. Bet y'all this family is wealthy. Tracy, I'm sensing a cover up too, because I really wholeheartedly feel they knew something was wrong with this kid. Bet
Hmm.
not be K. Thank you for the super chat. Maybe his parents threatened him with a pow pow. Maybe so. Maybe so. Because this doesn't smell right. Something is not right. And it's a lot more going on. I think that, you can discipline your kids. Your kids can
Hmm.
have respect for you, and you
Hmm.
never one day in your life laid a hand on them. My kid know
Right.
I don't play that.
Right.
That's a
I
great
would just
point,
like
Diva.
to
I
say
feel like
too.
I like what you said a
Oh,
little earlier that children have to have respect for their parents, but I think parents, in a way, have to learn how to respect children as children and how to treat them as children. You don't have children to treat them as slaves or to use them or to abuse them. You have children to bring them into the world and make them great human beings better than who you were. And I think that is a lot of the issues we're having now
problems.
is that people just having
Mhm.
children just to be having kids or just to because they feel lonely or want somebody in their presence. No, it is a true responsibility to give birth to someone and have them in this earth. It's just no respect for either side, no respect
You
for
are
parents
correct.
and no respect for children.
Yeah.
Right. And
One
the
thing.
candidate is a prime example. But give me a minute, Zeta. You wanted to say something. I saw your hand go up. What did you want to add?
Yeah,
Um.
Raya touched
uh,
on it for me, and Chef Kev dabbled in it as well. I was reading the chat, and I saw a lot of people were saying that their parents raised them by beating them, and maybe I'm different. I'm 22. I don't have any children, so I don't might not have any room to talk about it. Like you were saying, there's different ways to raise a child. I don't think that beating your child is the only way to give them discipline. You were saying the child
right.
like household, there's timeout. There's you can get down to a child's level and speak to them one on one to understand what's the root of their problem. And I feel like yes, the child didn't have any reason to be attacking the teacher. I also feel like the teacher also owes a responsibility to understand the child. The whole administration, all the resources in the school, and the parents as well are supposed to be there to support the child and figure out what's going on before anything else happened. Like you said, there was smoke, there's fire. There was probably something going on with that child, and people chose to push it aside, and that's not fair.
Hmm.
And I think pushing things aside is what leads to the bigger problem here, and that we need to be more focused on our students and our children and get to know them. I feel like a lot of people just have kids, and your kids are just there. You are responsible for them, but you don't really even know your kids. You guys have to have a two-way street.
Or
That's
another
it for me.
thing I've noticed, a lot of the parents be in denial when you have to let them know that their child have some type of mental illness. It's a big denial factor that they go through as well. And one thing I was going to say with this child being 6, the good thing for I'll say those who are maybe concerned if he'll go to jail or not or go to the mental institute, most likely they will take him to a mental institute or the state will award him there. The good thing I do notice when these children come this young, between like 6 and 8 years old, they
Mhm.
are really rehabilitated. Okay. It's not like they're 21, thrown in a big jail, and you praying they get rehabilitated or no rehabilitation don't happen. But when they're this young, that young girl or little boy will be rehabilitated because there'll be no more parents, nobody else to put in input to say, oh, nothing is wrong with her, nothing is wrong with him. Just give them time or, things like that. So,
I
That's
don't know. I
good.
haven't
I
seen
hope that's what
any
happens.
child that has come from the system
Mhm.
rehabilitated.
you say you don't know a child.
I haven't seen any child that became a product of the system came out rehabilitated.
You mean far as what? You seen a child come from a psychiatric ward who was jailed for 2 to 3 years, not
No,
rehabilitated?
I'm not saying that.
Oh,
What I am saying is this. It's not guaranteed he's gonna come out rehabilitated. Kids are like sponges. He's gonna be around people that have really psychiatric problems. So he's gonna be exposed to that.
yeah, but
So
he
is there
has,
a possibility
but
that
how
he
don't we
may come
know?
out just as worse as he went in?
No, no, because you have to understand, if you send a child into an environment which is a psychiatric ward, most of them children have been rehabilitated. They have started that program. So when this child come in, yeah, this child may come in a little rough and ragged or whatnot. He may be put on another unit, but when it's time for him to get on the right unit and do the right thing, he will. Yeah, children are a sponge, like you said, and he's going to 90% of the children will go with the good because it's a certain age, and this 6 year old, the 6 year olds, the 8 and the 10 year olds, they are rehabilitated when they have to go to a psychiatric ward.
Well, we're gonna put a pause on this. It's a tough, tough conversation. A lot of emotions across the board. It really pulled at my heartstrings because I was just like, here it is, a 6 year old that didn't even get an opportunity to begin to live his life. Um, and as a result of what I'ma just label as his environment, this is what he turned out to be. Um, and it's very sad. And it's like, how does this happen? But there's others that I feel should be held responsible for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sad, and we're gonna stay close to this story. But you made a good point, right? And it's a good segue into our next topic here. You made a good point about just bringing kids into the world, just to be bringing kids into the world and acting as if like, oh, everybody now, they went from having baby showers to now you have the gender reveal party. We don't know what the baby's going to be, and we're popping the yellow and the blue, and everybody's jumping around, everybody's happy, right? But you're bringing a life into the world, and you're going to be responsible for pushing out a civilized human being for us to live with. And so here you have Nick Cannon. He has 12 children. And listen, he's not the only celebrity that has a large amount of kids, right? But he is one of those that I feel is making a mockery out of this situation. Every time they get pregnant, he's doing what is it? Maternity photo shoots with the ladies, right? And so I saw Shamar Moore is having a baby girl. Um, I'm not shocked because right now Mariah Carey, she has had enough of the shenanigans, and she is filing for primary custody of the twins, because really she's not using these words because she's being kind, but at the end of the day, he's an absentee father. He simply has no time for the twins. Thank you, Diana, for the super chat there. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So she wants primary custody, right? So, and he's in the uproar, whatever the case may be. Hey, Gabor,
Hey, Diva.
how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Oh, look at my darn Google thing talking to me. So, Mariah wants the twins to be primary under her because at the end of the day, without the paperwork, the kids are really 100% with her. Nick Cannon showing up to take them to the amusement park for 30 minutes out of his day, then taking pictures and posting them to the Instagram and whatever other social media he has. That's not a dad. And she's sick of it, and she's over it. And I say give primary custody to Mariah Carey, because Nick Cannon is in these streets acting a fool and being a mess. And he's not even in the kids' life 50% of the time anyway, because he has what, 10 other kids to tend to. And see, Mariah Carey is shaking up the bunch, okay? The other ones he can keep in line because they're dependent upon him to live their lifestyle. So he gives them 30 minutes, an hour, they got to accept it. But Mariah Carey said, not under my watch. You're not going to screw up my kid's life by being messy and thinking you're going to just pop in and out when you feel like it. Now, before you just enter the building, did you want to speak on a previous subject, or what did you want to say?
I'm here to talk about Mimi.
Okay, talk about
Mariah,
Mimi. Yes, yeah,
they
I
will
know
call
Mimi.
Mariah.
I know Mimi and Mariah.
I'm
Yes,
all the way here for Mimi because Nick done went and had them little kids, and now hers is the first kids.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And she don't need them. You right. She don't need them. See, them other women got to do what Nick say, but Mariah ain't got to do what Nick say. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I
She ain't
do.
got to do it.
She ain't got to do it. So give her primary custody and knock it off. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. Nick Kid's going to have issues. They a dime a dozen. They a dime a dozen. They ain't that sad though. Right on, yes, right on Mimi. Everybody wants Mimi to just get primary custody because Nick is out here being a fool. And I really think that indirectly, he's going to mess up these kids' life. Like once they get around, I'm going to say the 10 age range, because all the other ones outside of Mariah's twins, they're all pretty much 5 and under, okay, for the most part. Maybe one of them, like the one boy, the one that just had three babies by him, he might be 6 or 7. But all of them are like 5 and under because some of them were born in the same year. And matter of fact, I'm sure some of them were born in the same week. It's a mess. It's a mess. The kids are going to have issues. It is messy. So Gabor is here for Mimi. Tracy, what do you want to do? This Nick Cannon and Mariah wanted primary custody of the twins.
I think Mimi should get it. I don't think that he don't. How does he have time to spend time with all those kids though? Because
He
they
doesn't.
all in different households.
He
So
doesn't.
I think that yeah, they where they need to be. She deserves to have 100%.
She deserves to have 100% primary custody. We're
Yep.
team Mimi over here.
Yep.
Okay, Chef Kev. What are you, Team Mimi, Team Nick Cannon?
Well, of course I'm Team Amy, but I never thought he could fight for custody. He got 800 shows and 800 kids. So I don't know how I didn't know he even had time to spend time with the kids. So, he to me, he's just as bad as any other absentee father, out there. So I don't know. And plus, I think they don't even live in the same state. So, I mean, she deserved to have custody of the kids.
Yeah, he's
Point blank.
being very selfish. He's being extremely selfish. He only cares about himself. And you know what? He doesn't want to lose this custody, but really it's not that he doesn't want to lose custody. He doesn't want to lose like this assets to me to Mariah Carey. Because once she has primary custody written on paper, she could tell him kick rocks. I ain't got time for you, whatever. In his head, he's still connected to Mariah, but in Mariah's head, she's not connected to him. And she don't want, now this is a whole nother story, and I ain't gonna go down this road right now, but she don't even want her kids to be exposed to their siblings. But that's a whole nother story for another day, I guess.
What
Okay?
Team
siblings?
Mariah.
Wait, hold on, E. What was you gonna say, Gabor? And then E, I'm gonna
What
come to you.
siblings? What siblings?
Oh my, don't
My
do
mama
that.
told me. My mama told me if she ain't had them, that ain't real.
Come on, Gabor.
Y'all messy. You're messy. Yes, he wants access to Mariah. Yes, he does. And I'm sorry, Nick Cannon, it's a wrap. Go ahead, E. What was you gonna say?
I agree with Gabor. Listen, you were never a good, I'm not talking about you all, but Nick was never a good father. I remember when all of these blogs kept coming out and they were saying, oh, Nick is having these babies. And they said, well, he has the money to take care of them. We just got finished talking about that story with that little boy and not being properly guided and nurtured and influenced. This is what Nick is doing. I agree with you, Diva. These kids are fatherless children. And the way that he's having them, they won't have much finances in the next few years either. Who knows how long Nick is going to be around? God bless him. But who knows? And who knows how long he will be able to work at the rate that he is. Change those kids' last name from Cannon to Carey and move on with their lives.
You talk about the twins. I ain't mad at you. Miss Redhead, thank you for the super chat. Nick needs to get it together. His children will choose his retirement home. Listen, let me tell you something. $20 million sound like a lot, but I don't even know if 20 million is liquid cash. You know how when they do your estimate of how much you're worth, they put all of your property and some other stuff into that estimate. I think even sometimes because they did it with Kanye West, they will add your future earnings. That's how he got on the billionaires list in the first place, right? So my thing is, this 20 million with Nick Cannon, is it really 20 million? And when you have 12 children, what does $20 million really do to you? And all of these other women outside of Mariah Carey, their sole responsibility, except the one that wanted to shake things up a little bit, that Lanisha, I don't think the other ones work. So all of their money is based on Nick Cannon. Zeta, what do you think? Mimi wants full custody,
I think
the
that she,
primary custody.
yeah, I think she should get primary custody. I'm pretty sure she already makes all the decisions. The kids already live with her, and now it just means she doesn't have to speak to Nick Cannon about the decisions anymore. So good for her.
Well, you know what? That's true right there too, right? She ain't even got to call him and say nothing because she could just do it all herself. That's facts right there. That's facts right there. Anybody else want to say anything about this Nick Cannon situation?
I do.
Hey,
Go
this is
ahead,
Mariah.
Sebastian.
I'm gonna get dragged, but it's okay. It's okay. Um, I don't agree with her getting primary custody and her not having to talk to Nick Cannon about the situation. It takes two to tango, so therefore it should take two to come to this conclusion with it. In anything affecting the children, I understand that he has multiple other kids, but that's not Mariah's business. Mariah's business is her kids with Nick's. That's it. That's her business. What he decides to spread his seed however, does not concern Mariah. Because last time I checked, they're divorced.
Oh,
But do Nick even really love his kids though? Because usually people that got kids, they don't usually have kids like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to take away from the kids they already got. And the fact that he's spreading his seed all freely
Listen,
is,
the
you
kids are
know,
the
is
only
is I
ones
don't
who
think that he really
truly
love the kids
the
like that. It's
kids
like he
the kids are the only ones who truly know if their father loves them or not. That's
No,
it.
Mariah knows.
hmm.
no,
All right.
the twins are missing their dad. Remember before Mariah came out and did this whole primary custody day, she gave him a warning. She said, listen, come see about the kids. She said, come see about the kids. The twins need you. So she did that back in December. She gave him a little warning saying, you need to make time for the twins. That tells us that way before that, Nick Cannon wasn't coming to see the twins. The priority was those nine other kids because the 10th one was just recently born. I mean, the
Thank
12th one was just recently born. So his
you.
priority was the nine other kids and not the twins. And that's why Mariah had to say, you out here fooling around, getting all these Instagram
That's not
photo
her
ops.
business, though. That's not her
No, it
business.
is her
Her
business. She
business
got
is
her
to
twins
sing.
to worry
No,
about
her
too.
business is to sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You." That's her business. Mariah needs to stick
Oh
in
no.
her corner where she is and come out every 25th of December. That's her business.
But it
But
goes one every year. It goes number one every year. Nick ain't got nothing to go number one.
No.
actually, he does. Having multiple children is his number one every year.
Please.
Oh
Well,
Ooh.
first
wow.
of all, it becomes Mariah's business because when you have not one child but two laying up in the bed every night, seeing their father on the internet with other babies and asking, why doesn't he come to see me? Why doesn't he
Mm,
come to my school? Why
mm.
why
Listen,
why doesn't he come to lunch with me? Why doesn't he pick me up on the weekends? If they have joint custody, I'm thinking it's 1 week on and 1 week off or bi-weekly or something to that configuration. He can't take 50% custody because he doesn't even have time. I read somewhere he doesn't even know those kids' birthdays. He has an assistant to tell him which baby's birthday it is. He don't even know those kids' middle names.
well, those are the mother's fault. Maybe you shouldn't just have
But you
children
just
that you
said
don't
it.
want to be
No,
around.
no. But you just said it wasn't Mariah's business.
No,
But if
I'm saying it's not
anything that
Mariah's business, but the other kids' mothers, the other, I don't know how many
No,
others,
but what's
they're
Mariah's business is his time. If he can't manage his time to his children responsibly, then we need to terminate his rights so he can stop disappointing these kids. Emotional disappointment, years and years and years, is worse than the father just not being there. The kids won't expect you. Stop letting kids expect you if you can't be there. That's Mariah's point. Stop disappointing my kids.
how is he disappointing her? That's not of Mariah's business where he decides to spill
If
his
you
tea or
disappoint my
not.
kids, it's my business.
No, that's not her business. It's the
I
kid's
have
Yes,
to
it
control
is.
decision.
my child.
It is the kid's decision to realize if their father is disappointing them or not. That's none of Mariah's business. Mariah, as I said, she needs to stick to singing. That's her business. She needs to stick to co-parenting. That's her business. But what he does outside of his relationship with her does not concern her
Can
at
I
all.
ask you something? Because I've never heard Mariah say, what are you doing with these women? If she's asking you, if her conversation is limited to these
Subliminals? Are we
children,
forgetting about the subliminals?
if the conversation is limited to these children and it's about time and we have a co-parenting agreement, then I have ample right to know why can't you stick to your obligations to our children? Because if the children come and ask me a question, I need to know what to say. I don't have an answer. Kids want to know, and they can't call him on the phone. He has 12 kids in other states. What do you mean it's not her
How do we know that he can't call him? I mean, they
responsibility?
So
can't call
hold on,
him. How do we
Sebastian.
know
Hold on,
this?
E. Hold
How
on,
do we
Sebastian.
know
Hold
this?
on, E. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. Right, good boy. Who them kids? I didn't have them. Okay. Somebody said great point, but Mariah laid with him. Um, listen, if you disappoint my child, it's my business.
But she was
Mo, I
married
agree
to
with
him.
you 100%. Okay.
Capricorn she
Anything about my kids. is my business.
What
Mariah has the right because what E is saying is true. I'm gonna let you in, whoever's trying to talk. Give me a minute. What E is saying is true. The
it's not true,
kids,
it's her
the
opinion.
twins are of social media age, okay? So they see, oh, daddy had another baby. Oh, daddy taking a photo shoot with this one. Oh, daddy sitting on Santa with, I guess that's our new brother or sister. Why couldn't daddy come see about us? They
Yeah, because
hurt. Go
in the
ahead,
kid's
Gabor.
mental mind state, Diva, they probably thinking, I thought I was made out of love, but now I'm just a science project for daddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I
Well,
was really in
listen,
love with me no more.
every
So we
child is
just
a
never
science.
even really know. I'm questioning my own existence now if I'm the kids.
All children are science projects. It takes science to create them.
Hmm.
It takes science to create them. Just a fact.
No, but what Gabor is saying is correct. They're questioning now. What is going on? Daddy has all of these kids, and now he has no time for us. And listen, Mariah, and you know, this was rightfully so, because you moved on after me. When he got with that Brittany Bell and they had their first one and two kids together, she was okay. There's pictures with her kids and those first two. But when he lost his mind and started showing his children indirectly that there's foolery of being single and fathering all of these kids with all of these different women, why would she want her son to see that? Now, when she signed up and married Nick Cannon, she didn't sign up for those shenanigans. Now he's teaching his son and his daughter, you
And
know, the
therefore she should
daughter
butt
that,
out.
oh, a man could just lay with you and have all these kids and never be in your life and your children's life. And he's
Thank you,
teaching the
Diva.
son, just be a father to 99 kids and don't worry about what goes on with the wife. Nick is a mess. Period.
He is
Give
a mess.
Mimi,
I'm not
that's
saying he's
right,
not a
Leslie.
mess.
Give Mimi her primary custody, and Nick go sit down in a corner somewhere and let it go. I'm sorry.
Y'all are supporting father absence. This is the problem. This is a big problem. Y'all
He
want to
already
all the
absent though,
time.
He,
Sebastian.
he sure is.
He already is, but this time it's gonna be legally restricted. My thing is Nick is messy. I'm not happy he's having all these kids. No one is. That's not my point. My point is what he does outside of his relationship with Mariah does not concern Mariah. It only concerns the kids. And if the kids are well, the kids are kids. They're just gonna have to deal with it. They can't. They can't be mad at their father for moving off of their mother. They can't. It just completely is wrong.
Well, I want
You're
to say
making it
this
seem like that
respectfully.
they're
I
upset.
don't think they would be mad about that though.
Yeah, you're making it seem like they're worried about the daddy just not
Well,
No.
being with Mariah. We
Any
not
child
upset
who
that
has
you're not with my
absent
mama. We
parents
said
is
that you
going
up
to
here
feel some
having
type
these
of way.
litters of kids.
he's
Every
allowed.
time we look up, you done had 3 or 4 kids a year in the last 2 years.
Okay. So women can say my uterus is what I do with
You
my
ain't even
uterus.
got money no more. You had $20 million when we break that down between them and the kids and the, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing coming from you no
Nothing.
more.
If women can
Nothing.
say my uterus, my choice, why can't a man be my penis, my choice as well? He decides to put his penis wherever he wants to and implant wherever he wants to.
It's
Just
So
like his
reckless
dad.
though.
Sebastian.
You can
So
do it, but it's
Sebastian.
reckless.
It's
Now,
reckless. Thank you. That's the
Sebastian,
word.
I
It's reckless. But hold on one
say,
second. I'll let you in. Sebastian, here's the thing. We just talked about the 6 year old that somehow had to be neglected in the home. And now you saying you got Nick Cannon with these 12 babies and they just in single parent homes on purpose. It's one thing that something happens. It's on purpose, and you're saying you're good with it. You're saying it's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay. I do not support single parent homes. First of all, I
It sounds
commend
like that's what
anyone.
you're doing,
No, I
Sebastian.
commend anyone who's a single parent. I commend you if you could be a single parent.
But Nick Cannon is
I'm
single, Sebastian. What are you
I'm
talking
saying
about?
I'm saying basically that the fact that he's having all these kids doesn't concern Mariah. That's his penis. He decides where to stick it and where to.
Mariah's not checking him for that. But what Mariah is doing though, she's protecting the mental health of her twins. Their daddy is out there acting a fool. It's no different than if my baby daddy becomes an alcoholic or a drug addict, whatever. Yeah, that's your father, but I gotta protect them. I can't send him over there and he's drinking his behind off and
Okay,
passing out, and
di-
the kids gotta
has there
keep
ever
picking
been an
him up.
have there
I
ever been
can't. Go ahead.
have there ever been an instance where the kids were at Nick's and he was effing some chick, impregnating her? Have there ever been
But
an
that's
instance
not what
like that?
Mariah
could be a
Mariah
possibility.
is saying he doesn't pick them up when it is his weekend. What she's saying is, my kids need structure. You're not giving them structure. So I need to terminate your agreement because you're not adhering to the agreement because my kids are still in school. Their mental health is important. What Diva said, they have after school activities, they have homework, they have friends. This is affecting their socializing because they have to travel to where you are, be where you are, if you even pick them up. You're messing up the you're making me carry additional burden because when it's my time, according to our parental agreement, I'm having to pick up your slack and clean up the emotional damage left over from your
That
week.
part.
Because not only did I have them on your week, but I had to console them during your week. And I'm a superstar
Mm.
too. And I need my free time. Mom has to have fun too. So, exactly, whatever Nick does with his time does affect Mariah when he doesn't pick up those damn kids on his weekend.
Well,
Mm.
Mm.
listen, this is
And them kids probably be gullible and think that them they real siblings. You know what I'm saying? And every
they
time they
are
look up every 3 or 4 months, they probably thinking I got a new sibling out here. They probably want to go see the baby and babysit. And you know Mariah not having that.
no, they are their siblings. Those
That's
kids
not their
are their
sibling.
siblings. They
Yes,
are
it
their
is.
siblings.
That's
There
their
are their
sibling.
siblings.
Halfway.
They all have the same blood, paternal blood. They all have it.
They don't got the. It ain't full blooded though.
It is paternally, yes, it is.
There's no way. There's no way. It's
Paternally,
impossible.
paternally, if there are siblings, if they do take a test of relative
It'll be
relative
50%.
test, it will show that they are related. Because you
Yeah, to
only
show
need
that they're related.
because you only need to be, I think, 25% related to be considered related.
Oh, like a
Correct.
cousin.
So yes, just like a cousin. My point is, I don't agree with the primary custody thing. I don't. I think they need to have a civilized conversation. What are we going to do for the betterness of all the children?
He
My
tried having a
But
civilized conversation with her Sebastian, but
Sebastian,
go ahead,
if
Maria.
He's not
if
acting
if she's
civilized.
not, if Nick is not doing what he's supposed to do now
how do we know it's
as a
not just him?
part-time parent, have
Are
you
we
seen
just
any
giving or
pictures
are
with
we?
him and the children out here? I see pictures with everybody of all these other kids. I have not seen not one picture this year or last year of Maroc and Monroe and Nick Cannon. I have not seen that. And that speaks volumes because you can run around and take pictures with everybody else and all these other kids. And I do not think that Mimi would just be out here fouling for court to be in the public eye that she doesn't want to be in for some mess that's stupid. You
And you
think
know,
she went into
I did
this?
see picture. I did see pictures of Moroccan and Monroe a couple months ago. I
a
really
couple
did.
of months ago.
A couple
See,
months
bro,
ago.
Air is
No,
telling the truth.
there
Bro,
has
Air is
been
telling the truth.
there has
I
every
don't
month
see
there has
Nick
been new
Cannon in pictures with them
sources.
kids unless it's a celebration.
Every
The only time
That
we
every
see
part.
him
month
is
there has
balloons
been
and
a
glitter
new source.
around. I want to see Nick Cannon on the couch putting the baby to sleep.
Okay,
I don't
And
want Nick
so
showing
my
up for
point
photo op.
was,
it's
thank you,
not
Gabor.
fair.
And my point
Right.
was, if he's not handling his responsibility now as a part-time parent, what if Mariah decides to go let them spend a weekend or spend a month with him, and then something happens to one of the kids? Then what? If you can't handle your responsibilities as a part-time parent, what do you deserve any parental guardianship at all for? You can't
Okay,
prove to be a good parent as a part-time parent. So why do you need any parental? No, it's got to stop. We have to
okay.
draw the line somewhere.
I'm gonna ask you this. If this was a woman who was having, 9, 12 kids with 12 men, with multiple men and everything, and one of the men just don't want his child to be involved with this said women, could the man file for primary custody as well? Are we saying that the man should
See,
file
but
for
the
primary?
thing is, the difference
There's
that
no
he
thing.
gotta.
Yes or no?
No, no,
It's a yes or
Sebastian, I'm
no.
gonna answer you. The difference is that all of those kids will be living with the mother, where with Nick
How do we
Cannon, all
know
of the
that?
kids are living with the baby mothers and not him. And you know what? Gabor made a good point. Every time we see Nick Cannon with the kids, it's a photo op. Okay,
Hmm.
it's either in the delivery room, it's the maternity photo shoot. It's with Santa. It's at
A
a mommy
birthday
me
party.
daddy class, a birthday
Hmm.
party. We not seeing nothing real. We're not seeing no real time. We're not seeing that he went to the
Well, that's
school
social
play.
media. That's only social media. That's only what we see.
But he
Are
puts
we with the
without he
children?
puts
Well, but
he puts this
Sebastian, do we
out
not
though,
remember a couple
Sebastian.
of weeks ago when Diva reported that one of the mothers went off on social media because Nick wasn't spending time, and
That
then
is
he got his
true.
photo op with 30 minutes of her, and it calmed her all the way down. So if
That is
he's
true.
having
That is
complaints
true.
about a baby mama who he's not even pressed about not coming to see the kids, do you think that he's really coming to see Mariah's kids, who in his head he's still pressed about?
Well,
No.
this is the result. This is the
We're
result of
going
the
to
women.
deliver
If
the
you have,
paper signed,
if you
sealed, inside of an envelope with a butler with a golden pen for him to sign. And then they will return them to Mariah and take them to the court, and they will be filed. And she will have full custody of the children. Point
these
blank,
are the women's
period. The
fault.
judgment
Period.
has been given.
These are the
Boom.
women's fault. If you choose to have children with him, well, then deal with it. These are the women's fault, not the guy, because this is
See,
You can say
so
that
2025.
for the rest,
Sebastian,
but you
They
can't
hold
don't
say
on,
that for
have.
the church.
Sebastian, to your point, that's why Mariah is dealing with it. That's why Mimi is dealing with it. She chose to have kids with Nick Cannon. He was her husband, and now she knows what she chose, and she's handling it. She's dealing with it. She's saying, you know what? Not under my watch. And she let it go on for a long time. It's not like she just woke up and was like, you know what? I'm done with this. She gave him plenty of opportunity. Before Mimi spoke out, and said you need to find time for the kids. She was calling him, texting him, emailing him, sending him subliminal messages, DMing him. And what did he do? He still didn't have time because he had to be in the delivery room every month, back to back, back to back. And then he had to do maternity photo shoots, back to back to back to back.
Whose
And then
fault
he
is
had to do
that?
this and that. And he forgot about Marone Moroccan. And you want to know why he forgot? Because he felt like it had said their mom is Mariah, they're good. But what he has to understand is it's not just about money. They need their father. They need his presence. They love
That
him.
is
They
true.
miss him, and they need his physical time. But he was ignoring Moreau and Moroccan. Why? Because he felt like, you know what? They got the better deal out of all my other baby mamas because
Mm.
their mother is Mariah. That's what he felt. I'm sticking 10 toes down on that. And that's why he was annoying them. And he never expected Mariah to open her mouth because he's so used to all the baby mamas being under his little spell. But what he
Mm.
didn't realize is that Mimi had enough and she's done.
Mm.
And
Hashtag
Mimi has
private
silently, slowly
custody for
been letting this
Mimi.
out over
But
the past couple of years. Mimi, this is not the first, second, or third time that Mimi has announced that Nick
Facts.
has not been in the presence of the children when needed to be. This has been an issue that's been going on since they have
All the women
separated.
have said this.
So this is not new tea. This ain't new information. Mariah is just sick and tired of being sick and tired of carrying the food load and responsibility. And if she's going to carry the food load and responsibility financially, she might as well carry it legally.
And you know
boom.
Mariah Carey got issues with her own siblings that's trying to come after her money. So Mariah know how it is when they're little kids, when they run out of Nick money, they gonna be over there trying to get some of her money from what she done did
That
with
part,
spending.
Gabor.
You know what I'm
Say it.
saying?
Say it.
Every time you look up Mariah Carey's sister and brother trying to say what she ain't did and what she ain't done did. And that's only two siblings. So you gonna come over here with these other 10 trying to come get my nah, we ain't doing that.
Listen,
Why are
When
you
Nick
laughing,
decided to
Diva?
go off and have 15 of the kids, he signed off his rights from Moroccan and Moreau.
because
Okay.
you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Because I
Hmm.
can't go more because you're crazy. Because but you're right though. You're right. No, all jokes aside, let me tell you this. All jokes aside, if Mariah was to slip up and be nice and let Moroccan and Moreau go see all of these kids, they going to be snapping up the photos because listen, in my mind, they opportunists anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're going to be snapping up the photos and posting them because it is Mariah's kids and with Nick Cannon. I'm not here for it. I understand hashtag protect the kids. Okay, hashtag protect the kids, and that's it. Okay, so
And
that's what
let's be
Mariah
honest,
doing.
Diva. Do
Yes.
you really think these people out here just having kids by Nick Cannon because he's Nick Cannon? No, they are having kids because he's tied to the number one and only Mariah Carey. Now let's just talk
Oh,
about it and
Oh
be
no, I'm
real.
not gonna do
Facts,
that. No,
facts.
I'm
They
not gonna
wouldn't be
do
one of.
that.
They wouldn't want to. See, Royal, you be telling the truth. They would not be worried about them kids being siblings with them kids if them were Mariah kids.
Hmm. Well, you're both speaking facts, and the key point to that is if they were so worried, at the very least, why wouldn't you try to get with the other mothers and make sure that your kids know their kids too? But they still fighting because they still want to sleep with Nick. So if you want your kids to know the siblings, let them get to know every sibling. Why are you so worried about Moroccan and Moreau? Let them get to know the baby, this baby, that baby, and the other baby. That's facts. It's true.
Hmm.
Sebastian, you okay?
Right.
Protect
I'm
the kids.
here. Listen, I support the kids. I'm not saying I agree with Nick Cannon's way of bringing children into this world. I don't agree with that. Obviously, people should not be reckless and be having kids all over the place like that if you know you're not going to be there for them. My point is that Mariah's place is not to be involved what he does outside of her relationship with him. All the thing I'm just basically saying is yes, Nick should be present for his children, all of his children, because he brought them, well, he implanted them and their mothers brought them into this world. But we can't act as if this is the first time we've seen this issue happen where women have to deal with men who've had multiple children all over the country. This isn't. There have been multiple
No, she's just the
instances.
first woman that's willing to stand up and take a stand and
My
not sit
thing
back and
is,
allow the abuse and the foolishness.
this is not
That's
abuse.
what's
This is
going
not
on.
abuse. We are not
It
going to
is
completely.
abuse. You are
No, it's not
neglecting the
abuse.
children. The children are
This is
being
not abuse.
neglected.
These are
This
not.
is
This is not.
neglection at its best. This
This
is
is
what we
not
call
abuse.
neglection.
This
If
is
you look
not
up the
abuse.
picture in the dictionary
Mariah
of
is not.
neglection, you will see Nick Cannon, neglection.
This is not abuse. My thing is, we need to tell Nick, obviously, that he must be present for all his children because he implanted them. He has to be present for them, and we need to tell Mariah she needs to sit her behind
Okay.
Sebastian,
and
you better
belong
stop.
So how much longer is she supposed to sit down, Sebastian, and allow this behavior to continue? How
till
long are
he's
we?
dead.
How long?
Till
How
he's
long are we?
dead.
Are you serious? So these children are supposed to
You
go
gotta be
continuously?
trolling.
Yeah. Sebastian has found some alcohol and he's gotten
Okay,
drunk
I
tonight.
You
bet
gotta be
So,
trolling.
But
How
he
you
is
gonna tell
going
somebody?
hardcore for
You
Nick
talking about a
Cannon.
man that got 12 kids, and you gonna tell Mariah to sit down?
And
talk
I
about
want
it,
to say that
Galore.
Mariah is not the first woman to terminate the rights of the father. Sierra did that. The future, he kept
That
missing those
part,
dates, and Sierra went and she terminated his rights, and Russell Wilson adopted that baby. So no, black women stand up, terminate their rights, and find that baby a new daddy.
stupid.
Thank you, Tugga Tugga. Thank you, Tugga Tugga. See, I have fans too. Thanks. I love every one of you.
Okay, wait, y'all making
We
me
know
so.
y'all drinking
Listen, y'all
together.
know I'm past my time. We got to close out. Okay, I'm gonna go around. We're closing this thing now. Auntie Robin, are you there? I felt like we lost you. Okay, I think we might have
She
lost
might have
Auntie
went to
Robin.
sleep.
Yeah, she might have. Sebastian, what's your closeout? 60 seconds, Sebastian. 60
Okay.
seconds.
Okay. My closeout is one, the man who peed on the woman on the plane.
The
Clearly
senior citizen.
the senior citizen, Air India, you failed. This was a New York to New Delhi flight. You That means it had to be over 20 hours, I believe. You failed. You should not have given him alcohol every time he asked. Two,
That's right.
the
Air
6
India, Air India gets an F.
Air India gets an F, and I don't recommend it at all. Two, the 6-year-old who did this whole pow pow incident. I have. We all can just pray for this 6-year-old. Just pray for this child, and pray for the
Mhm.
woman who's now in her hospital bed due to this 6-year-old. The parents failed. The school failed, and I'm going to say this as well. The the teacher, I give you kudos 100% if you could deal with children like that. I give kudos to all teachers. Shout out to all the teachers. And I hope they continue being warriors in the classroom as they should. Nick Cannon, stop having these kids. Stop. I don't even think you don't even need to get a vasectomy because you have a sex addiction. So even if you do get the vasectomy, it takes a month or two before no sperm starts wiggling. He'll already be back into action. So don't get a vasectomy. You just need therapy to completely be abstinent. To be abstinent. Oh, and you have
That's not going
Harry.
to happen. Remember, he lied about that for 2.2 seconds when he had his talk show. He just needs to get a vasectomy. So at the very least,
That's not
even if
gonna work.
even if
He's
five
gonna get
kids happen before it takes, at least that'll be the last five that he gets to have. 60 seconds. You almost out of time, Sebastian. Finish up.
and I see you have Harry. We did not talk about Harry, but too bad. Harry, you and your wife need to be quiet. I'm tired of this nonsense of you guys keep talking. Megan, I'm sorry to say this. Continue being like your mother-in-law and you end up just like where she is. That's it.
Mm. Tracy, 60 seconds.
Sebastian was truly drunk tonight.
He was. Chef Kev, you
um,
served out. Chef Kev, you overserved tonight to one person. Go ahead, Tracy.
okay, I hope that that 6 year old, even though his household failed him, I hope the system doesn't. I hope
Yeah.
that he really does come out of that um, in a positive light.
Hmm.
Also, I do pray that the teacher makes it.
Yes.
And for Mimi, I'm still Team Mimi. I hope she does get full custody of those children. And
Hmm.
she needs to come off the cannon train.
Yeah. Yeah, she's off that train. She's off that train. She's done with him. She just wants him to sign these papers now and let it go and stop. Okay. He doesn't want to let it go, but get out of here. He's a mess. Zeta,
Mhm.
what's your final words?
My final words are basically from these last two segments. I need everybody to get to know their children, get to know what your
Mm.
children really like, and know what ticks them off and what sets them off. I want school systems to actually implement real solutions. It's not just about clear backpacks or metal detectors. We need more mental health experts. We need people that can go into the homes and make sure everything's safe at home as well. We need parents to actually get down to the root of every single problem and talk to their children and their teachers. Make sure, like you said, it's a village. I need the village to actually come together and actually work for these kids. And Nick Cannon and his family, I need Nick to go focus on his children, every last one, and take a little break, at least for a year, and take some time to go home to home and know those children.
Amen to that. E, your final words?
Y'all know I love Sebastian, but I have to use my 60 seconds to refute what my brother has said.
E,
He,
I'll come for you, E. You better not. You better not.
Read him,
I'll
E.
come for
Read
you.
him.
We're
okay,
letting you speak.
okay,
You have your 60 seconds. Go ahead, E.
okay, I'm not going to come to that. But ladies, Sebastian reminds me of my child's father. Just because I asked you a question, it doesn't mean I'm trying to micromanage your life. We owe a responsibility, both of us, to this child. If the child lives with
That
me,
is
you
true.
have to you have to communicate with me. If you don't communicate with me, then you are, in essence, neglecting your child because I don't ask him about what he's doing and who he's doing. That's her problem. Now she'll find out what I already know. What I'm
Mm.
saying is, when we say and we start speaking up for our child, notice how a certain person on the panel on the top row opposite of Diva has said, oh, well, no, she needs to go sit down. Oh, no, she needs to mind her business. See how they make us the villains when we
Mm,
hold them accountable. They want to preach accountability and turn it into a gender war. Well, what about if
mm,
it was a woman? What if a woman had 12 kids? We're not talking about a woman who has 12 kids. We're talking
mm.
about a man with 12 kids in 12 different states, born, some of them born on one day after the other. These people are hood twins, some of them. Listen, ladies, take your power back. Take these men to court. Get the most child support you could possibly get. And if he don't got any money, terminate his rights and find a new daddy. That's all I got to say.
We have
Damn.
we have to omit everything what E said because I can't believe she said that.
No,
Oh
Yeah,
damn.
I
no.
love
you
you.
had
I
your
love you,
60
Sebastian. You're
seconds.
one of my favorites. I love you.
Sebastian. No, hashtag get a new daddy. Hashtag do the Sierra Wilson. Okay.
I
Chef
love you,
Kev,
Sebastian.
60 seconds, Chef Kev. 60 seconds. What's your final words?
It takes the village to raise a kid, and the village fails. Um, So I wish the best for this child and the woman to recover. You know, that's it on that one. As far as Nick Cannon, he's a hot mess. He needs a vasectomy. Um, and I'm pushing for Mariah. And as far as this lady who got peed on, I hope her family sues the pants off of that, no pun intended, off the guy and off the airlines. If that was my grandmama, I'd be whooping somebody's behind right now. And that's all I got to say on that.
Thank you, Chef Kev. Royer, what is your final words? 60 seconds.
60 seconds. The assault that has happened on our elderly senior is exactly what we're going to call it. It is an assault. We need charges filed. We need jail time sentenced because this is horrible. At no point in time, as a grown adult, should you ever be so unsober that you take out your private parts and urinate on someone else. Assault, jail time, and a life sentence, in my opinion, because there is
Oh,
no you just ain't never that drunk. I'm sorry. For someone to do something like that is completely, utterly disrespectful.
Oh,
For the 6-year-old child, all I'm going to say is I'm praying for grace and mercy be upon him, and that, um, as much as I, in my head, I don't want to say this, grace and mercy be upon the parents as well, for hopefully they know not what they do. And then grace and mercy to the teacher, the school, they have some answering to do because all of this should have been documented. There should be documentation to follow behind to answer why this happened. And then lastly, for our Mimi girl, like I said, go ahead, get your personal assistant, fly them right on down there to Nick's office, right there, meet him on the set. We need you to sign here, 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 and here. Thank you very much. Take these papers on down to the notary, have the notary sign off on this, give that notary $10 for their notary signature and stamp, and get these papers on down to the courthouse and get this file and the judgment sealed, okay? And then lastly, everyone in the room, if you have not, I need you to like and I need you to most importantly subscribe to the Chronicles of Gray Haired Diva channel because tonight we are going to get her to 20,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not and like this video. Love you guys.
love you too. Love you more. Gabor, thanks for being here. You know I love you. What's your
Love you,
final
man.
words?
I remember. I want to say Chef Kev said it takes a village to raise a child, but what if the children are the village? Nick got 12 kids over there. How could we help him raise these 12 kids? I remember Mariah Carey was on the Breakfast Club a couple of years ago, and she kept on saying that Nick was lowering her stock. We talking about an icon diva. You know what I'm saying? Nick could have at least went and got Olivia pregnant or A. Marie or some type of one hit wonder.
Oh my
He went and
God.
had all these kids by these no names women, and that's why they having kids by him back to back to back to back. So we need Mariah, go ahead, and you taking care of everything anyway. Wait, her child support done went down all the way. Got to split between 12 kids now. You know what I'm saying? You flipping the bill anyway. You might as well just do it by yourself. You don't need them. You don't need them. They ain't gonna do nothing but work when they bring Morocco and Monroe over there anyway. They ain't gonna do nothing but use them as babysitters since they old enough. They can make bottles and change diapers and stuff like that. Got your kids doing work now. We ain't doing that.
Look, good boy, they're gonna be making them
Justice for
doing work
Mimi.
and doing
Justice for
photo
Mimi.
ops.
Huh?
Justice for Mimi. What did you say,
Right.
Royer?
They're gonna be making them make bottles and do photo ops, trying to make money off of them. Shaking
Yeah,
my
we ain't
head.
doing that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we not
Get
doing
them
that.
papers signed and down to the courthouse ASAP.
ASAP. Hashtag justice for me, okay? Listen, guys, I love y'all for being here. As we close out, I just want to mention here, we love when the people come in the building and help us have this conversation. We got two people in the building that have their own channel. Go over there, check them out, like, subscribe, hang out with them. Warriors World. Warrior has his own channel, guys. Check it out, okay? And remember what we said too. That Roy and I, we're doing our 2023 YouTube tour. We figured the Grand Dame could do it. Why can't we? Okay, so we're going to talk more about that later on, and we will have flyers out. Okay, 6 slots open, okay? If you want us to stop by, we don't care if you got 10 subscribers, 1 subscriber, 1,000, whatever. We'll stop by. We're doing a grand tour. Good boy. I
Mhm.
love you. I'm so glad you're here. You always make me laugh. It's so much fun when you come around. And listen,
Aw.
everybody, probably all of y'all already know, though. Gabor has the channel also. Andrew Gabor. Go over there, check him out. I'll be listening. Gabor, when you talked about the Real Housewives of Potomac the last time, I was cracking up, okay, as I was cleaning up my house and doing things. Y'all be getting it in, all right? Y'all be
Thank
getting it
you.
in. And listen, and let me tell you something. We'll talk another time. I have to maybe come up with one of yours. But Jacqueline, Mia did Jacqueline dirty. That's all I gotta say. Okay,
Hmm.
thank you, Derby Diva Empowerment. We appreciate you. So listen, guys, subscribe to our friends there. Okay, Andrew Gabor and Roy's World. Thank you for being here. Choo choo. We're pulling into the station. We're done. Chef Kev was being messy tonight. He talking about his dry January. He didn't want to serve no drinks, but yet he slipped some to Sebastian because Sebastian was speaking all kinds of crazy tonight.
I
I
Okay,
did
still
not
be
say
sober.
Look,
edibles.
I'm
I said
helping
drink.
Sebastian off the
Sober.
train now,
I will
Diva. I'm
still
helping
be
him off the
sober.
train now. He's
I
he's
will
help
very
him off
wobbly.
the train. Okay, help
Don't
him off
tell
the train.
nobody.
sober. I will
Yes.
still be
Good. Listen.
sober.
Good night, guys. Love y'all. See you next time. Bye.
Good
Bye.
night,
Night.
everybody.